Hello. Discord's being a little slow with the notification, but I'm about to start here. So, we got a new update here. We got 3.3 released. Which includes more Archon story, as well as the card game. As well as a couple new banners. So, let's see here. First we get some mail. Oh my god, look at all these Primo gems. That's 200 there. 300 maintenance. 300. Ooh. When Kuching used her normal attacks consecutively on enemies affected by the electro element, her level 2 constellation effects would be triggered at an abnormal interval. Wow. There's an issue with Nahida's talent, Awakening Elucidated, whereby there is a small chance that the Elemental Mastery increased buff of the 4-piece artifact set Gilded Dreams was not properly included in the effect of the talent. Ah! What? These issues have been resolved. Well, cool. Supposedly we're going to be getting Primo Gems for the Game Awards. So that's cool. Ah, there's a few. That's a healthy chunk of Primo Gems right there. Speaking of which, Scaramouche, Wanderer, is in the game. Ito's back. I have 2 wishes here. Not Primo Gem converted, but 2 wishes. And as always, I'm going to throw 1 wish at each of these banners, even if I don't want them. I'd say that neither of these seem to be a bad call. First one is Scaramouche, Wanderer. Nothing. This goes toward pity, so it's not bad. Ito, here's your free wish. Nope. So the next person I'm going for is going to be Yelan. Okay, so we got new quests. We got the new Archon quest. We got the card game. It's in there. These are the dailies. Don't worry about those. Inversion of Genesis. Battlefield of Dice. Cats and cards. Test run. Do I dare do the test run of these characters? I suppose I should, right? Try them out. Oh, we've... Yeah, it's the Battle Pass. Yet again, they make you do that cutscene thing. Okay, we had a few things saved up from... That's cool that it did those... what's the word? Retroactively. Because I didn't spend that money after this Battle Pass got dropped, so yeah, it counted the bosses, it counted the Mora. Alright, cool. Yeah, I won't have to worry about this for a while. It's just going to be working towards whatever. The test run, though. Let's see how... Let's try Wanderer out. Let's try Scaramouche. See what he's all about. Give me just 1 second, though. Sorry, Discord is still not fucking... There it is! You hear that? It finally got out there. Alright. Let's see what this guy's all about. By unleashing his elemental skill, the Wanderer will enter the wind-favored state and leap into the air. After unlocking the talent Jade-claimed Flower, when the Wanderer comes into contact with Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, Electro, when leaping, he'll obtain buffs according to the contact element. Oh. Wanderer's elemental burst compresses the atmosphere into a vacuum that deals multiple instances of AoE animo damage. Elemental ores will drop into the okay. So let's try this thing out first, the elemental skill. So he goes into this hover mode, and he's got like the stamina bar there. And you can press the jump button to go higher up. But that's not actually your stamina, that's his personal stamina. Okay. So what happens if you dash? So you can do this. Dude, exploration is crazy with this guy. So you can... There's not much of a cooldown either. You can jump. You can do that again. You can get pretty fucking high up.
Swollen Fury.
Exploration, I think he's...
Upon the gale.
Here's what I'm wondering. Can I do his little thing mid-air? No. He doesn't have the Kazuha mid-air jump. But this is no joke. That alone is really fucking crazy. Okay, let's see how he is combat-wise. Okay.
Ready, steady, go! I'll protect us.
Unsightly insects. Behold.
Okay, so he's DPS. Huh.
Come on, we can do it. Eat this!
The wind rises. Bow your head.
Huh. I'm not really... I think he's good. It doesn't seem like he's doing anything other than DPS, though. I think he's pure DPS. That's what he feels like, at least. But even then, I don't think he's doing crazy amounts of damage. Ito? Let's check Ito on the other hand. I'm pretty familiar with how he works.
Freeze.
Let's dance.
Who wants some of this?
See, he's doing crazy damage.
Cool it. Oh, so sorry.
Ready, steady, go! As a good knight should.
It's showtime. Attaboy.
Yeah, oh, that's an interesting glitch. Bye-bye. Is he still sliding? Alright, well... Yeah, leave the domain. So, yeah, Ito is definitely double S. As in terms of tier lists, I think he's double S, but I don't know about Wanderer. I think his exploration is insane. I think he's going to be great for exploration. I think he's possibly the best in terms of exploration. He can get across pretty much any small gap. Like, imagine throwing up Zhongli's pillar, climbing to the top of that, and then using his, like, fucking rise, like his Scaramouche's, like, float ability, because it doesn't use your stamina, so you could just float to like this, just parallel to a cliff face, and you could just climb up. It's crazy, but his damage, I'm not feeling it. I'm just curious now. Give me a sec.
Damage.
Okay. Tier list. So let's see where he is. Based off of what I thought. Wow, he's not... Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay. Ooh. Interesting. So he's in the same tier as Nahida in terms of damage, which isn't bad, but I don't see him anywhere else. His exploration is amazing, though. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, elemental skill allows him to float midair, making it easy to avoid grounded melee attacks. Yeah. Normal attacks have a wide AoE and can home in on enemies. Yes. Can do an infinite number of strong charge attacks when floating. Oh! His charge attacks don't use his normal stamina when he's in the air. Amazing toolkit for exploration, absolutely. Low base damage without buffs or reactions. Okay. Low base HP and defense. Ugh. Recommended to have at least one shielder or healer in any team composition to avoid unnecessary dodging. That's not too bad of a stipulation, because I usually have a shield or a healer in the party to sort of cover my ass. Zhongli covers pretty well. If not Bennett's a pretty big fallback. But it doesn't seem like he's bad. But it doesn't seem like he does anything other than DPS. So, it seems like I was pretty spot on with my analysis. Meanwhile, I look at somebody like Yelan here, who is pretty high up in these 3 tiers. I mean, fucking Raiden Shogun. I tend to like support characters, as you can fucking see. All of these characters I have, or I don't have Yelan yet. I'm going to have her. I have Mona. I don't have Kokume because I have Bennett. He's a way better healer. I have Nahida, Raiden, Kazuha. I want to get Yelan. I've got Hu Tao, but I don't use her much. I use her when things are immune to Electro or Dendro. Nahida's good. Nahida's like S double S double S. Yelan's S double S double S. Kazuha is double S in these 2 things. Raiden's double S in all of them. Zhongli is double S and shield, but that's all you really need from him. I've been picking him out pretty well, I think. The people that I want in my party. So let's see what this girl's about. Farazan will enter the Manifest Gale state after unleashing her elemental skill. While in the state, her next fully charged shot will become a Hurricane Arrow, which creates pressure. Effect will burst after a short delay, pulling nearby objects and opponents in. Okay, let's just feel it out.
Dare to mess with me?
Oh, that was stupid.
Too late for regrets.
Okay.
Nice and spicy. I must leave no stone.
Bring it on!
Hazel does some fucking crazy damage. For a 4-star?
As a dutiful maid would.
Cyclone!
Gears of the storm. Ha. 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 We'll see about that.
There's not much of a cooldown on her.
Truth hurts!
Truth hurts.
Can't fool me!
You're toast. Time repeats its course.
Okay, she's pretty good. She's pretty good. I think she's going to be great support for being able to like suck people into a little zone with her arrow. It's kind of like Kazuha, only she can aim where it goes. That's pretty cool. I don't know if she does really much else. I wasn't feeling damage on her. Yeah, let's exit out of that. What does it look like so far? Where's she at on this? She was Animo, so she should be the same color as him. Okay, she's right here. Is she anywhere else? Nope, just support. Exploration? Why exploration? Buffs Animo damage and increases Animo resistance for enemies. Minor crowd control, yeah. C6 buffs Animo crit damage. High energy cost for elemental burst. Elemental skill generates few elemental particles. That's not good, actually. C6 to be this high? Okay. Okay. So, not great. There's better 4 stars out there, for sure. Goro, I've tried before, but, you know, we'll do it because he's in the thing. Getting sidetracked. We have story to fucking do. Just blaze through this.
Pull it! Dodge this!
Leave it all to me. As a good knight should.
Everyone on me!
Submit.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool it! Charge!
Time to clean up. Steady as stone.
Don't waste my time.
Freeze! Rally!
Your life is mine.
Mingwang's good if you set her up properly.
As a dutiful maid would.
Pull it!
Yeah, he's good for a Geo team. He's really good for a Geo team. I'm not 100% on how to use him. I know Sapphire has him on her team with Ito and Zhongli, and that's pretty much the best you can really do unless you also have Albedo. He can get pretty crazy if you actually work with him. Yanfei's okay. Only okay.
Motion to compel.
Oh.
Boom boom! Inadmissible evidence!
So the way her thing works is every 3 attacks she gets a super cool, strong charge attack, but her elemental skill also does damage and fully charges that as well. Her burst does damage as well.
Start growing on our heads.
Alright, so we did the test run. Yeah, Wanderer looks like he's going to be great for exploration. Rival Kazuha in terms of exploration, for sure.
Everyone hold hands.
But can he do that? Can he gather stuff from a distance?
I see everything.
What the hell are you? gonna be nice to have Yelan. She has a really good sprint. Sweet flower? Yeah, you can have one sweet flower for character experience. Got it. Okay, so we should do. I feel like this is going to be interrupted by. Hold up. No shit, they didn't add a Wanderer hangout event. Okay, let's do the Archon quest then. Not that we wouldn't have to do that first, but I'm just surprised. Ooh, hold on. 160 resin? Let me use some of that real quick. Let me commit child abuse. Just real quick. Just real quick, child abuse. Let me get on this real quick. Well, it's nice that my audio didn't get glitched after doing...
Opportunity is quite hard to come by. Well then, amuse me. Surrender is a valid option. I promise I'll be gentle. The wind knows me. Not bad.
Alright, second form.
Guess I should take you more seriously.
Really should.
Gather!
Shine down.
Grow, grow, grow.
Something else catch your eye? All you do is run.
Hey,
Has your luck run out?
Jesus, child. Can we skip? Can we skip? Can we skip? There it is.
Stabilize.
Illusion shattered.
everyone hold hands.
One with nature.
Yeah. Ha. I see everything. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
No burst needed.
Some you win.
Some you lose. Yeah, you're right about that one. What is that? Oh, hold up. Domains. City of Gold. What? Yo, what? We got a new domain. This wasn't here before. Let's do it. Artifacts, huh? It's probably for Wanderer. So it's going to be Animo and Elemental Mastery, I would assume. Might even be good for Nahida. Possibly. Ba 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 ba. Straight over here? Sanctuary of Surasthana, so we're going to Nahida's place for the story. Is the domain down there? Yes, it is. I don't think I've seen that little red thing down there before. Could be wrong. See what it does. Oh, jeez. That was pretty fun.
Time to go.
Oh, I got Nahida's wings. The Sumeru wings here. Finally. So I'm at max level for the reputation for Sumeru. Straight below here? Yeah, that definitely wasn't there before. Alright. Let's get some free primos. Doing the City of Gold. Wait a minute. I don't want to do this. What do these artifacts do? Animo damage bonus? Ooh, Kazuha stuff. When charged attacks hit opponents, the equipping character's normal attack speed will increase by 10%, while normal charge and plunging attack damage will increase. That's... Sorry, that's definitely Wanderer shit. Because, as they said, whenever Wanderer's in midair, his charge attacks, you can do it infinitely. You just do it over and over and over again. Elemental Mastery, on the other hand. Bloom, Hyperbloom. Oh. Okay. Bloom, Hyperbloom, and Burgeon. Okay, so this is only good if you have Hydro and Dendro in the party. So this might be a good set for Nahida if, and only if, I had a water person in the party. The current set she has now is good for any party setup. Where she gets Dendro damage bonus and yeah, whenever she uses her skill, Dendro resistance is decreased. Even if she's not on the field, which it's popping off when other people are using their attacks. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. Now, let's do the story. You know, nearly 30 minutes into the stream. We're checking out new shit. We weren't completely wasting time. Cutscene.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tataris Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
This is the first British person in the game?
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay, but...
Did one of them just mention Tataris Suna? But that's all the way in Inazuma.
Yeah, the most British-sounding Japanese man on Earth.
Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here's just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people here are free to research pretty much anything.
Still, let's go listen in.
Great! Let's go find out what this Tataris Suna mystery is all about.
Inversion of Genesis.
I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. If only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about her, this seems like the kind of thing she'd know about.
Ahem. Looking for me?
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
What?
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
If you don't believe me, I'll go.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. Sorry.
Excuse me?
Oh, Sawada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatarasuna?
You'll have to remind me what that is. It's been a while.
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
Ah, I see.
Sorry I can't help this time.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive or a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
It's nice to hear 2 new voice actors. And they're not bad.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a Kabuki Mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger, someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This Kabuki Mono lived in Tatarasuna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kinda fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow, did I get lucky!
Jesus.
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the government records office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago.
Okay.
Even back then, Tatarasuna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Could it be?
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Maybe.
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art.
We know Kazuha.
Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall.
Uh-oh.
I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
We know exactly what happened.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
There's more?
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabuki Mono was not a human, but a puppet.
Oh, it's all coming together.
A puppet?
The Shogun puppet that the Electro Archon made should be ruling Inazuma with her as we speak. It couldn't be her. It's Scaramouche! The Kabuki Mono has to be the balladeer, but what was he doing 400 years ago in Tatarasuna? Probably fucking around with the Kazuha, his clan.
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
Glare at Paimon and hope she keeps her mouth shut.
No. Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Now here we go. Oh my god! Fuck me. Alright. Author Sawada, Extract 1. I thought with voice acting I wouldn't have to, A man arrived in Tatarasuna around 3 in the afternoon from afar. He spied laborers walking along the mountain roads toward the factories. Already. Their shoes scuffing along the jutting stones. They walked like people convinced that so long as they reached the fire raging in the mountain's belly, they might extract from it gems beyond price. The mood that the sight inspired was ineffable, beyond mere description for those not present to witness it. This is very wordy. The man barked a cheerful greeting and sprinted to join the procession. There, a towering character who stood half a head taller greeted him with a heavy slap on the back, and yet his words were filled with respect. Do my eyes deceive me? Sir Miyazaki, I cannot think that the return trip here to Inazuma City could have been easy on you. Miyazaki smiled like a young man taking the first steps on their journey. Expression relaxed. Why, Katsuragi, Inazuma is the realm of the almighty Shogun. I sailed upon the fastest ship, strode upon the swiftest sea routes. What dangers could I have possibly faced? And what about the good news? There was some, naturally. The two burst into uproarious laughter, roughhousing with the other workers until the path's end. A young man dressed in a linen shirt and wearing a headscarf gazed into the dancing flames of the furnace before him. Now the flames of the forge. Okay, give me a sec. My brain is not prepared for this. Teacher, can I not read in front of the class, please? Now the flames of a forge are unlike any other, for their intensity affects the resulting integrity of both metal and blade. So too then was the Flame Watcher an unusual individual. At his fingertips sat a lizard, and on his face he wore a smile. The workshop was huge, and the furnace was deeper within. A reasonable person might think that there should have been many working alongside the Watcher, yet he stood alone. Only when Katsuragi and Miyazaki strode into the room did the Watcher turn. This Watcher was Niwa, armory officer and administrator of Tatarasuna, born to the Niwa clan, which served as one of the 3 pillars of the Ishin art. Niwa never argued with his siblings and was a worthy successor by all accounts. The post he received as a result of his high standing with those in power served as a statement unto itself. Miyazaki handed a well-bundled text to Niwa as he adjusted his expression. Is said, It is as you have said, sir. The elders of your clan and the city do not think highly of our plan, yet I still believe it to be worth a try. As such, I have found the proper vendors and procured the materials that you requested. Niwa studied the text and nodded. We should try some ways... Oh my god. We should try some of these new forging techniques, whether Kaedahara says yay or nay. Katsuragi frowned, and with a sigh he said, Forging is a precise and difficult undertaking. You know this better than most, sirs, and still you seek improvement each day with a terrifying drive. Ah, should my Lord Nagamasa hear this, the sourness in his face shall be hard to miss. Niwa smiled, replying, And how goes the forging of your lord's great blade, Katsuragi? Katsuragi neither wanted to shame his master nor lie to his two friends, and yet he could not think of any way to deflect, and so groused. I see your ears are as keen as your hands, Sir Niwa. The jokes of us unlearned men are as nothing before you. Miyazaki hid his grin. Upon hearing this, Niwa released the lizard from his hand into Katsuragi's palm. But just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps light with the celerity of youth. Don't know what that word is. The head that peeked in was round, and in the light of the fires looked like an oiled jewel. The young man placed some boxed food at the side, and nodding, he prepared to leave. Katsuragi called out after him, What about your share? Aren't you going to eat it? The young man, upon hearing those words, found himself slightly at a loss. After a while he answered, Very well. I will try it. You're welcome to the food. We all eat the same fare, after all, Niwa said. The man nodded and left, seemingly deep in thought. Good God. The Kabukimono was by the coast. Sunset fell to the accompaniment of the darkness. The bands of twilight showed themselves not. From their place did thunderclouds roil, grumbling the omens of a coming rainstorm. Darkness filled the flesh of the sea, and the dusk bade the clouds to kneel upon the land, its supplication mirroring the Kabukimono, with knees bent and face towards the waters. Pointed toward the waters. Jesus, all this fucking wordy bullshit. None passed that way, and none knew what he was waiting for in silence. Time passed, unmeasured and uncounted, till a black cloud suddenly tore free from the sky and began to circle the Kabukimono, bearing down on him like a nightmare. Though he was not aware at first, after his studying gaze was refined by time, he understood. This cloud had marked him from the very start. Outbound, a fishing boat drew near, the lights of its bow flickering in and out of the sight beneath the falling sheets of rain. A mist unspooled across the area, stealing sight from the fisherman. Repeatedly he exclaimed, It is but dusk. How are my eyes darkened? Is there anyone that can deliver my boat upon safe tides? Like a falling spear, the black cloud reached the bottom of the boat and was joined in its bereftness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plunged into the shoreline. Scant steps away, the Kabukimono stood idle, slanting his head to study the grand wreck. Not but half an arm was left of the one who had cried out for help, and with a plop, it landed at the Kabukimono's feet. He crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite out of it. What? He was gonna... I'm sorry, was he gonna take a bite out of an arm for some reason? What? For the dark cloud swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. The Kabukimono stared at it blankly, like an awakening dreamer. When he returned to himself, the clouds had scattered, as if they had never been there at all, or were they ever there to begin with. As for the ship, could it have been struck down by a storm? Who was to know? Not the Kabukimono. Jesus fucking Christ. Katsuragi rushed to the doorway and shouted, My lord! Things go ill at the furnace. I have searched for Sir Niwa, but there is no trace of him, and much time has passed since Sir Miyazaki left to seek aid, but he has yet to send us any missive. Look! Mikoshi Nagamasa turned slowly, his face grave as one attending a funeral. He spoke then, his words heavy-laden. I wish not to say words, Katsuragi, but Sir Miyazaki may never return. Katsuragi peered past Nagamasa's broad, stiff shoulders. Beyond the windows, the clouds above boiled in waves of black, as if darkness now was the only weather, and might even morph into an abyssal beast and devour Tatarasuna whole. Over 10 people had already perished. That was why... Katsuragi recoiled as if struck. Yes! It was coming back to him now, in dribs and drabs. That was why they had to set out to seek aid. Miyazaki had been the first to set sail. The clouds had only just begun to form then. Traveling from Tatarasuna to Inazuma to ask for support was normally no great feat, and yet there had been no sign of his return. Then a second ship was sent, followed by a third and a fourth. that the Kabukimono himself had departed upon the tides. Jesus, this goes on and on. Under foul skies and ominous fortunes, it had been Katsuragi who had brought him back and treated him as his own, and it pained him greatly to see the lad go. Yet the situation in Tatarasuna was severe. Even should they sacrifice more lives, it would have been worth it. Jesus, I can't. It's weird, just normal reading I have trouble with, but then I put a voice on it, and all of a sudden there's no problem. It would have been worth it to gain assistance from Inazuma City. He was gone, and none could find him. Afterwards, Nagamasa led a search party into the mountains in the area around the furnace, all to no avail. Folk began to wonder if Niwa might have encountered an accident, but worry soon turned to suspicion, and they wondered if he had fled, unwilling to bear the sin of having caused these incidents. The people grew ever more suspicious, and Nagamasa himself strained against his discontent and fury. His face had grown to resemble the rumbling clouds above. Suddenly, a figure flashed by. Their presence did not go unnoticed by Nagamasa. He drew his blade and cut, though he only nicked the silken veil the intruder wore. For a moment they swayed, and then, like a marionette pulled by strings, they moved behind Nagamasa, laughing darkly. "Are you seeking someone, my lord? Niwa, perhaps?" Nagamasa bellowed in fury. "You dare address Sir Niwa directly?" Yet the figure parted like mist before his falling blade, only to rematerialize beyond reach, but not beyond sight. A ghastly apparition indeed. "Was it you who slew my people?" Nagamasa howled and charged, held back only by Katsuragi's desperate grip. As his senses returned to him, he realized he was but an inch away from falling into the furnace. It seems that the rest of this work remains unfinished. From the existing text, however, it is apparent that this is a novel of fantastical, colorful sensibilities, born from an imagination well utilized.
Oh, and please read my essay draft as well.
Oh my God! Oh, no. No. A brief analysis of possible events of historical importance in the Tatarasuna area. Details. This text belongs to a series of works sponsored by the Vahamanas Veil Cutter Project and is yet to be numbered. Author Akaba. Abstract. The Tatarasuna area has always been a major pillar of Inazuma's smithing industry. 2 incidents have occurred here, and the details beyond the first are vague at best. I believe, however, that there might be a hidden history behind the events that transpired. Hence, this paper will attempt to analyze what may have unfolded from the available data. Glossary. Jesus Christ! Tatarasuna area. Raiden Gokuden. Mikoshi Nagamasa. Kabukimono. Introduction. This paper continues and expands the work of my mentor, Mr. Rumi, in his report on the happily hidden tales of Tatarasuna, and is intended to further this avenue of research. According to the data, the blade forging techniques of Inazuma were originally handed down from the Electro Archon, also known as the Raiden Shogun. Using the arts they inherited from their Archon, the people of Inazuma devoted themselves to the process of forging. However, strange rumors that do not quite fit the steely nature of metalwork yet linger about Tatarasuna, which was a central pillar of the forging industry. There, the Mikoshi and Niwa clans, along with an eccentric puppet, serve as 3 windows of insight we need to investigate the truth behind what happened. Body. Strange notes from the Tatarasuna area. Their contents are as follows. Perhaps I overstep, but I think that Sir Nagamasa's mood grows better when he forges blades. The obsession to cleanse the stain of the name Mikoshi must eat at him. Also, Sir Katsuragi discovered a nameless eccentric while patrolling around Nizuchi Beach. The inspector bought a certain number of jade steel ingots. Sir Katsuragi discussed matters of smithing deep into the night with the vice armory officer. We at last made a single nagamaki. We call it the Daitatara Nagamasa. The inspector was in high spirits, and he and the vice armory officer, Nozomu, was so taken by the beauty of the Daitatara Nagamasa that he drew a picture of it, and he performed a sword dance with that wondering eccentric. Okay? And we could not find that eccentric. The inspector flew into a rage and slashed Katsuragi. The great blade cut deep into the flesh, cast his own nagamaki into the furnace as flame. Nozomu could not abide by the order and drew the completely melted weapon out of the furnace. He was horribly burned. Nozomu died that night. Jesus. I dare say that while Sir Katsuragi may have committed malfeasance, it was out of the goodness of his heart. Kinjiro hid the Nagamaki and Nozomu's drawing in the arsenal. Nagamasa is harsh, but also knows right from wrong, but even so he is not amenable to reason. His name indicates one obsessed with purity. Still, I and some households of Tatarasuna have not been blinded by the matter of Nagamasa's mother Chiyo, and we trust him. I also remain unwilling to forget the joy of creating Daitatara Nagamasa with him, and that joy of watching the nameless eccentric perform that sword dance with Katsuragi. Before we withdrew, we should have divided the arsenal key into 3 parts. One for the inspector, one for the armory officer, and one to be left in Tatarasuna itself to prevent theft. But we were in too much of a hurry, and neither the inspector nor the armory officer could be found. So I was so bold as to hide the 3 pieces within treasure chests in Tatarasuna. Whoops, I think I might have found those. The 7 notes mentioned prior have been scattered across the Tatarasuna area. Among the 7 notes, 6 seem to be of good physical integrity. Though they all look quite old, while the last one looks more recent, I believe that the first 6 notes and the last are in different time periods. Though the gulf in years between them needs to be verified, the contents of the first 6 should also be related to each other, as the incidents mentioned are quite consistent with one another. Rumi once mentioned in Happily Hidden Tales of Tatarasuna, hereafter known as Hidden Tales, that in the past researchers from Sumeru had investigated the cultural histories of Tatarasuna and Inazuma, though the place had fallen into some degree of disrepair since the Hidden Tales were written. Things have improved since last time when I wrote my original article. Regardless, what used to be an area of major industry remains a place most inhospitable. And residents of Tatarasuna may be found living and dwelling by the waters. The residents, when questioned, told the researchers of Tatarasuna's golden age centuries ago, when it was administered by the armory officer Niwa, vice armory officer Miyazaki, and inspector Mikoshi Nagamasa, yet the elders among the locals with deeper ties to the region also seemed to stress the fact that there were strange rumors surrounding their homeland's past. Jesus. A great many of these rumors revolved around the yokai, who were so very characteristic of Inazuma's folk histories. A small portion, however, repeatedly mentions the word puppet. It should be known that puppets are neither traditional nor common yokai in Inazuma. This fact drew the attention of the researchers to delve further, and eventually the following pieces of information came to light. A puppet did once appear in Tatarasuna. Its visage was elegant, its apparel impeccable, and the way it dressed hid all the joint lines on its body. If no one were to mention that it was indeed a puppet, it would be hard to tell at all. Additionally, this puppet seemed to possess special joint lines that would fade with time, potentially even disappearing altogether, which would perhaps eventually make the puppet seem entirely human. Okay, it's an excuse not to put in puppet seams to the Wanderer. The name of the puppet was known to almost no one, or none. Some folk claimed to have spotted it appearing around Tatarasuna, while others mentioned encountering it in the central regions of the area. Some even claimed that it would frequent the beach. Tales spread of it standing beside the sea and gazing across the waters toward Inazuma City. What it was that the puppet was gazing at remains a mystery. As mentioned earlier, the 6 newts all document a certain nameless eccentric. The eccentric, which can be also read as kabukimono, is usually used in Inazuma to refer to a figure who dresses or behaves in a peculiar manner. It is understandable, therefore, why this character would have left such an impression. Should the people of Tatarasuna indeed have had a puppet in their midst incurring mass panic, a good possibility considering the coexistence between yokai and humans in Inazuma at large, then the puppet would have very likely become a local resident. What is less well known is if the kabukimono was just another title for this puppet, perhaps because it was uniquely dressed to distract attention from its more special characteristics. Okay. Workable theory, but one that still lacks enough evidence to support it. Still, it can be retained as an analytical lens of sorts. A list of individuals related to Tatarasuna has been compiled here based on historical documents for Inazuma. Starting with the administrators, the records are as follows. Armory Officer Niwa. Full name Niwa Hisahide. He is the inheritor of the Ishin art and successor to the Niwa clan. His family, along with the Akami and Kaedahara clans, were together known as the Ishin Sensaku. Records show that Niwa was a modest and intelligent individual who displayed remarkable talent in the administration of territory and people. His eventual whereabouts are unknown, but he was suspected to have left Tarasuna with his family following the incident. Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki, full name Miyazaki Kaneo. He was Niwa's second in command. His origins are unknown. He primarily assisted Niwa in forging and personnel and management. He was of affable temperament and had many friends in the region, including one Mikoshi Nagamasa. Spectre, Mikoshi Nagamasa, the successor of the Mikoshi clan, adopted son to the Oni warrior Mikoshi Chiyo. Okay, Onis. And the younger adopted brother to Mikoshi Michihiro, also known as Iwakura the successor. With his mother missing and abandoned by his brother, Nagamasa alone bore the family name, striving daily to wipe the shame from their history. Though records state that Mikoshi Nagamasa was a stubborn figure, he was also noted to be a person of moral virtue and integrity. It has been noted in various records that he practiced forging swords for self-cultivation and specifically requested special instruction from Miyazaki to further his capabilities. However, after the famous blade Daitatara Nagamasa was forged, he used it to slay his subordinate, Katsuragi, for reasons unknown at present. Subordinate, Katsuragi. Katsuragi's full name and background remain unknown. Despite all the materials I've sorted through, I've yet to find any more additional personal information regarding him. As one of Mikoshi Nagamasa's subordinates, he was a loyal warrior who had been saved by Nagamasa in his youth. From then on, he swore to stick by his lord through thick and thin, to give his life in service if it was but asked of him. Kabukimono, full name unknown, background unknown. From the many sources I've compiled combined with Rumi's personal observations, this character might have been the puppet mentioned in the rumors. The Kabukimono was a figure of fashionable grace and gentleness. According to the hidden tales, he was brought back to Tatarasuna by Katsuragi and became a member of the community. When the Kabukimono first arrived in Tatarasuna, he knew nothing of cleaning, cooking, or any work of meticulous nature. The locals taught him their skills over time, showing him how to clean his attire, dance, and craft small trinkets. Records state that the Kabukimono was there when the Daitatara Nagamasa was forged, though his trail ends before Mikoshi Nagamasa slew Katsuragi. I believe that the Kabukimono was indeed the aforementioned puppet and that he quite likely had a hand in Katsuragi's death. It seems that the rest of this paper remains unfinished. One thing is for sure, though, a lot of thought was put into it. Lore dump the game. I spent the last, I think, 20 minutes reading. These two motherfuckers dropped novels on me and said, read! Read them! This is the second paper.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it.
Do not give me another fucking paper. Yeah, that was a lot of reading. I was not prepared to read with all this voice acting in the game. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
You should probably just split the difference. Mix facts with fiction.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
I saw the first one skim briefly, and as soon as I saw the second one, I beat out at lightning speed. Didn't even entertain it. Well, VOD watchers skip 20 minutes. It was background on basically the three clans, including Kazuha's clan to some extent, and their connection with the Balladeer, or as he's known as like the Kabukimono or whatever the fuck. Anyway, it's just a slight backstory. We'll get better storytelling from the characters directly, I bet. Yeah, sounds more like a novel. Has this guy ever written an essay before?
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get.
Bloody hell, Harry. I'm in Genshin Impact.
Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess.
Drawing?
Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
They got 2 British people. No wonder the Archon quest felt short. Damn it. Yeah. I'll leave you tour it.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay.
I will say that the longer I read, the better I got at reading. Man, I just stumble over words for a while. But then after like 10 minutes straight of reading, I finally started to read and not fuck up as much out loud. Reading out loud sucks, man. I'm fine with like doing voices and shit, but just reading in a normal tone of voice, fuck that shit. I hate it.
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Especially if you're gonna make it wordy like the dude on the right. That shit was like... It read like a Lord of the Rings novel.
Hey, so that thing they
Novel.
were talking about,
Book.
it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it?
Yes, both those papers had everything to do with the balladeer.
Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh?
We could.
After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
We could talk to Yae, Miko, or Raiden, or Nahida.
If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Oh. What's wrong? You've looked like you've seen a short, tiny gremlin ghost.
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like...
You're literally at the beginning of the quest still. It's so sad. Yeah, I spent 20 minutes reading. I'm sorry.
Balladeer! No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
Well, my voice is warmed up, at least. I don't sound like I've just started streaming. I don't have a bunch of fucking cheddar in the back of my throat. I'm able to read stuff properly. I'm properly warmed up. Sad that it took 20 minutes. And I spent like 40 minutes updating my graphic drivers and then updating the game. Took a while. Talk to Nahida. Hey! Hey, why Scaramouche out and about, huh? Just he's wandering around? Like some sort of wanderer?
Traveler, Paimon, there you are.
Hello. What if I told you might need to read about the same amount later in the quest? Oh, God.
Nahida, bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public.
Look to your left, Paimon.
Did he escape or... Ah, it's him!
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey, what are you doing in the sanctuary of Surasthana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up?
Nahida?
I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
Uh-huh.
A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down?
Where'd you get the new outfit? Oh, wait, that's not a new outfit. That's your shitty old outfit.
But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you. considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time.
Okay.
The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond.
Wait a second. Farmer? You mean he's not a Harbinger anymore?
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
So he tossed you out like trash.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Really? What a crying shame.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't listen to him!
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
For me?
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Mm-hmm. You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and should be able to find it more quickly.
What if he lies to you?
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him!
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Thank you, Nahida.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection.
Not currently.
In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
Got it. I'm glad to be able to help.
Great. Thank you. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Prepare yourselves. Into the tree.
Wow, it looks pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Well, last time we were here, somebody died.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Nikita sent me to babysit you.
Shut your beak, jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smug!
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards. But right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Understood.
Fine, let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
You think my eyes are pretty? Also, who is Kusanali a lesser lord to? Who's the greater lord in that situation, if nobody remembers Rukkhadevata?
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
There's no need for all the biting sarcasm. Focus on doing your job.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
I'm in.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him. Wow. So this is the inside of Irminsul.
It's different than what I imagined.
Ooh. Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen? What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
Okay. Looks like we've been transported to another path. So avoid the branches. What the?
It looks the same in every direction.
Space is indeed unusual, but it seems that the Balladeer is more used to it than I am.
No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth.
Could just
Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
head towards the tree.
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little? We're here.
What a huge tree!
This is the center of Irminsul. All the information in the world is flowing through it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
The Balladier's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
He hasn't put up any resistance. He seems good at working on the front line. Maybe he had a similar role in the Fatui? First Akaba and Sawada's stories, and now this. What a strange individual.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Nahida? Is this a telepathic conversation?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
I'm guessing that you don't want us to disturb the Balladeer.
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladier's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Yes, he seems to excel at doing odd jobs for others.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Is it about his past, the betrayals, and the other events in Inazuma?
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Actually, I caught a glimpse of a few things when I ran into Hypatia at Party's DI. And I tell her about that.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the kabuki mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Okay.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatara Suna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Uh-huh.
Oh? How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gese got it right?
The guess, eh?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatara Suna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
You're normally so talkative.
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
We have every right to keep certain things confidential.
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait! How did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
Every conversation with you is hard work, but your attitude is better than I thought.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk?
Uh-oh.
We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
That name. Niwa was the man in charge of at Tatara Suna. Plus, he belongs to the lineage of Ishin art.
Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa! Scarafan's getting so much service. Yeah, for sure.
I've been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place. Like a giant village. People are gainfully employed. Their lives have purpose. They are motivated.
Okay.
As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma, and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
Uh-oh.
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected, because I didn't want to speculate, and I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way.
Also, this Niwa guy has a unique outfit for Inazuma.
What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Oh, snap.
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Could it be all the accusatory language?
Drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
You gonna stab him with a knife?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all.
As soon as I saw he had a knife on his back, I was like, he's gonna use it. He's gonna use that knife.
And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatara Suna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Oh, it's a better voice actor.
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place?
Scaramouche gonna have
Is that it?
a grudge against the doctor now?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this? Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet.
Give in. Do it. Strike me down.
Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa, already dead. What a pity. Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
Scaramouche is about to get angry.
Hey, are you alright?
Dottore. Dottore! Good. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
I'm afraid so. He was the one behind the Tatarasuna incident.
But why things from his perspective.
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
This betrayal was a lie that he believed for hundreds of years. Was this part of the doctor's experiment? The betrayal never happened. It existed only in his imagination. Where does this leave him?
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
Okay, let's go over there.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Is this gonna be like a hyperbolic time chamber situation, or we have to like wait a couple days?
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as the mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future.
So the doctor's probably going to be the next playable Harbinger, if not the next boss Harbinger. My guess.
Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the Balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the Balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the Balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The Balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it had protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the Balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Being betrayed and abandoned by a close friend is sure to cause great resentment. Now we know what was behind his decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden 100 years ago. But it doesn't mean that vengeance was the right decision.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
I've chosen vengeance against the Doctor! Mystery of Tatarasuna.
Tottori, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
No, I'm not gonna leave the domain. Just wanted to take a screenshot. That's not possible. A while later.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright?
What do you care?
That's a scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend.
We just want to make sure this doesn't affect the plan.
It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Teyvat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Can we get information on Paimon? Not unexpected, but still, thank you.
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your brother in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was his first destination when he arrived in this world.
What the fuck is going on out there? There's like a motorcycle just slowly going by. 1 mile an hour, being really loud.
Plus, he only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
Excuse me?
The heavens responded?
You mean that god we fought?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your brother for a time.
The Jester, another Fatui Harbinger. Why?
I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Jesus fucking Christ. Get out of here! Fucking Vroomer. Smiling. Give me a sec. A fucking Domino's delivery car outside my door. Just revving up their engine.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long.
Oh my god, fuck off. God, Jesus Christ. Just, like, let's vroom. Let's fucking vroom.
I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me.
What do you want to know?
Give me your hand.
That's not a question?
Can you hear my voice inside your head?
Are you trying to brainwash me?
No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past?
Huh? Wait, why would you ask that?
Done.
Huh? What the? What happened? Paimon only saw you hold hands for a second.
Nothing. I was just thanking her for helping me.
Wait, that look. Did he see me hesitate? But that was because I know about Great Lord Rukkhadevata. Uh-oh, I think
So
by not
long.
denying...
I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
I didn't click ahead. Fuck off. I want to read that. Give me a sec. Give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a sec. But that was because I know about Greater Lord Rugadavada. Uh-huh. Uh-oh. I think by not denying it immediately, I gave him the answer he needed. It literally skipped ahead before I could read that. Alright.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Palantir, stop! Paimon, we have to stop him!
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again. From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist. Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Balladeer! Balladeer!
He's gonna erase his name from history just like Rugadavada.
Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow. Oh no, he's really gone.
Oh, can you hear me?
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened just now? I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
Some kind of power.
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out.
Tell her everything that happened.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nahida.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
We're good now.
We're out! And we're at, an inn or something?
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you.
No, I want to help you. Isn't there anything I can do?
I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nahida, will you be okay?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before?
Paimon doesn't remember Greater Lord Rugadavada, and the Balladeer's question was a strange one. It's hard to explain it in full, and the truth might be very distressing for Paimon. I'll skip the part about Greater Lord Rukadevada for now and focus on the Balladeer. Tell Paimon that the Balladeer asked you what he might have been planning.
He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible!
It's not easy, that's for sure.
Right! You can't just rewrite history. All that stuff happened already in real life. It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it.
Yeah, great example.
So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Paimon's so confused.
Maybe he wants to erase himself from history. That's what I thought.
Huh?
Paimon, are you okay?
Sorry. Paimon accidentally... It's the Balladeer's fault for causing Paimon all this mental stress. But erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Irminsul?
Not necessarily, but maybe. I'm just guessing here.
Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working. Ugh. Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too?
Everyone but... me? Indeed, if the Balladeer does erase himself from Irminsul, many people in Inazuma will be affected. Can't imagine what the situation would look like. Worst case scenario, it'll affect everyone with a connection to the Raiden Gokuden. Kazuha, Ayaka, Ayato. Will this mean that they'll disappear?
There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next? Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a wink tonight.
Me neither.
So, how about, we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna collapse of anxiety here. Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. Munstack grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushroom skewers.
Oh boy.
Tea break pancakes, cream stew, sauteed matsutake, and Dragon chili chicken, almond tofu, satisfying salad.
At what point is she gonna just, like, rattle off all these foods and then she doesn't remember the Balladeer?
Also, Adeptus Temptation, golden shrimp balls, triple layered consomme, lotus seed and bird egg soup, and...
Paimon? What's wrong?
What was Paimon supposed to be doing just now?
Oh boy.
Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking about. What was it again?
You were getting so worried about the situation with the Balladeer that you started listing foods.
The Balladeer?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name, though.
Oh, well, shit. Paimon doesn't remember the Balladeer? That must mean he actually pulled it off. But how did he have that ability? This doesn't make sense.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something Paimon said?
No, it's nothing.
So, the Balladeer. Is that someone's name? 'Cause it sounds like a nickname or something.
If this really is happening, I need to know what else has changed. Paimon, come with me.
Okay, sure. Where are we going?
I want to go back to Inazuma.
Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Now's not the time to explain. Let's get over there first. Oh, it's time to check check our homework. We need to see what matches up. I had a feeling as soon as he was talking, like, is it possible to change the past? I was like, oh, he's gonna erase Balladeer, Scaramouche, all these names from history, and he's just gonna be known as the Wanderer. He's just gonna make a whole new fucking personality to be, but he's still a little shit. Everybody's forgotten him, but he's this new person. Boy, this can't be something that's accessible by people. This it kind of makes me want to like, hey Nahida, you're known as Lesser Lord Kusanali. You know, Lesser Lord to Greater Lord ... Huh, Greater Lord, who am I a Lesser Lord to? Yeah, you don't remember. Also, you don't remember the Balladeer who tried to take over the country just a month ago, but I do. The reason that we're such great friends?
Ah, it's been a while.
Old man, I know your memory's going, but I need you to tell me about the history of swords real quick. Pardon me, I'd like to ask a question if I may.
Of course. Go ahead.
Go ahead. About the Raiden Gokuden.
Oh. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. Very well. I'll tell you what I know once more. The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of 5 branches.
5?
Amenoma, Futsu, Ishin, Hyakume, and Senju.
Wasn't it 3?
The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed and perfected their craft until they became 5 distinct traditions. Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time, only the Amenoma branch kept its art alive. But fortunately, Kaedehara Kazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now, 2 clans remain of the original Gokuden 5.
Didn't Kazuha turn it down?
If my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin blade.
Yeah, but then he left after. He didn't stick around. He sold all of his belongings.
Oh, yeah, we were! Paimon remembers that now. We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden then, too. It seems like such a shame.
What was the reason behind their decline?
That, my friends, is a tragic tale indeed. In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans' demise, but never the cause. Only recently, when the question was on my mind, did I ask Kaedehara Kazuha about this. He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokuden, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. It is a dark and sorrowful tale. The Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a murderous rampage by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene, hoping to prevent a disaster. Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armory officer. His surname was Niwa, though he had family ties to the Kaedehara clan. Knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives, Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The furnace quickly stabilized, but neither of them made it out. The smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphan son was left to fend for himself, and grew up deeply resentful at the world. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty Shogun for her apparent indifference towards his father's death, and he hated everyone who had done nothing to try and save him. Powerless and destitute, the only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery. Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 years ago, the then head of this family reached the end of his wits. He could bear their fate no longer, and yet he could do nothing to change it. Finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought to vent his pent anger and shake the very foundations of Inazuma's forging industry. In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan which he belonged to. His goal was absolute, the devastation of all of the Raiden Gokuden. But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back fiercely, and they did not spare his life. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose they were the lucky ones, under the dire circumstances.
The legend of the Raiden Gokuden has changed. Someone else attacked the swordsmiths. It looks like the Balladeer did something in Irminsul, but it seems Niwa still died.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Have you seen Kazuha recently?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. We spoke for a while over some tea. He seemed well.
So he's not at sea with Beto. So he still exists. And he's still the same Kazuha I know. Things don't seem as bad as I feared last night. That's all. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? Your expression says it all. You can't hide anything from Paimon. On to the next stop. Lead the way, traveler. Paimon will be right behind you.
Oh, look who it is! Whoop.
This is the Yashiro Commission's headquarters, so...
Traveler, it's been a while.
Hello.
If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid your timing is unfortunate. They're not here right now.
They're not here right now. Nice voice for this big guy.
Are they out on business?
The Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place. If it's urgent, you're welcome to wait inside until they get back.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
Thank you. We'll take you up on that offer. Can we take a walk in the courtyard?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think it should be okay.
We'll be heading in then. Thanks!
Hello, dears. Is there something you want to say?
Ma'am, I know you're old, but I'd like to ask you a couple questions.
Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. Miss Kamisato has told me about you.
She's got some real Shinmu energy right now.
What would you like to know?
How are the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato these days?
Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all kinds of meetings
Oh my God.
and occasionally paying visits to some local organizations on the commissioner's behalf.
Very slowly, though.
As for the commissioner himself, well, you know, busy as ever. That much hasn't changed. Although he does seem to be in a rather good mood these days.
So pretty much business as usual in the Yashiro Commission, huh?
Very much so.
Ayato is still the Yashiro Commissioner. Ayaka is still the Lady of the House. No changes there. As far as I can see, nothing's changed in the Yashiro Commission either. I was expecting as much, but it's still a big relief to know that the Kamisato siblings are both safe and well.
Well, got any more questions?
That's all for now. Many thanks.
You're very welcome. In fact, I would love nothing more than for you to come and visit more often. But I'm sure you must be far too busy to have time for that.
Yep, you're right.
Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled to have you as a friend. And she's always saying how talented you are and how much she admires you.
Yeah, Ayaka's pretty gay for me.
I must say, many things in Inazuma seem to have taken a turn for the better since you arrived here. So you're not just Miss Kamisato's knight in shining armor, you know. You're a hero to us all.
I'm flattered.
I mean it. Whenever the commissioner dines at home, Toma always joins him. I always find myself at my most relaxed when I'm serving the two of them and listening to them chat away. The commissioner has such a busy schedule that he doesn't always have the chance to take his meals at home. But given the opportunity, he always prefers to dine here. They say it's because Toma's a much better chef than most. Oh, the commissioner is so fond of home comforts. They get to talking about you sometimes too, you know. Always with a very fond tone. The way one would talk about dear old friends around whom one can truly be themselves.
She is truly a Shenmue NPC.
Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well. Whenever the whole family gets together and they start talking about people they've met and experiences they've had, you always get a mention.
Oh my God.
It's been many years now since the late Mr. and Mrs. Kamisato passed away. Much has happened in the Kamisato clan in that time.
Much has happened since I began talking as well.
As someone who is old and gray enough to have watched their son and daughter grow up, it makes me so happy to see them meet a dependable friend whose company they enjoy so much.
I beg you, speak faster.
So, in the future, if you ever do have the time, please know you are always very welcome at the Yashiro Commission headquarters.
Oh my God.
There will always be at least one old lady who would be delighted to have the pleasure of your company.
These options have been on the screen for so fucking long. Thank you very much. I will visit again. Thank you. The people of the Kamisato clan are very dear friends to me.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Paimon likes it here too. Also, you were saying something about the food here being really great.
Same old Paimon.
Paimon's itching to try it. We may just have to invite ourselves around for dinner sometime. Paimon meant we should come pay a visit again real soon. Ideally around dinner time.
Who's that girl watching from the distance?
Of course. You're always welcome.
Alright, goodbye for now. Where are we going next?
To Tarasuna.
Great! Goodbye, ma'am! Don't worry, we'll see ourselves out.
All right, then. Take care now. Hope to see you soon.
Not too soon, I hope.
Oh, are you two leaving already?
Already, it's been hours.
Yep, everything's taken care of now. Don't worry.
Very well. Safe travels.
Safe
Goodbye.
travels. Goodbye. I'm a Johnny Cap. Smiley dag. Alright, let's go. Yeah. This is the place that usually has that giant electro middle bit that hurts you until you solve the problem, which we did. That's why they put it on the outside, just in case you haven't done it. Looking for clues. Fontaine, eh?
Well, here we are. But what are we looking for? Something or someone?
I don't know yet.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is that the Traveler and Paimon?
It's Savior.
Xavier?
Xavier.
What are you doing here?
I was in the general area, and now I'm in this specific area. There, that's me. So what about you two?
Fuck off.
We have some questions and thought you might be able to help.
Is it the guy that got drunk and like came on to us a little bit? I don't even know if that was on stream or not. Yeah, this is the same guy. Okay. Do you know much about the Tarasuna?
Certainly do. I've researched the furnace here in some depth.
That's why I hate him. Okay.
If there's anything you want to know,
Fair
just
enough.
ask away.
Hey, you been drinking much lately? How well do you understand the history of this area?
Like the back of my hand. Make no mistake, I have been here a good many times before. Not only that, but I've met people in Inazuma whose families used to live in Tatarasuna years ago. They said it's all true, the history here.
Go on, I'm listening.
Oh, well, it's a long story, don't you know? The tale of Tatarasuna starts a long time ago. I'm told that its history is one of the most foremost forging and smelting operations in the nation, goes back around 1,000 years. Still, the furnace has had a couple of serious maintenance issues along the way.
We solved one of those recently.
A couple? When exactly?
One was just in the last few years, the other was several hundred years ago. A fun fact, I'm not the first Fontaine tech guy to come and work on it either. There was a guy back then too. They say he was a mechanic who consulted on a technology upgrade. It seems like the technological collaboration between our two nations goes back a long way. How about that?
Yeah, it wasn't Fatui guy in disguise. Mechanic, huh? Looks like the doctor still sabotaged the furnace, leading to all the ensuing chaos. I only let Ito drunkenly hit on me because double standards, bitch.
Hey, weren't you gonna ask Xavier something about Tatarasuna? Come on, ask already.
I am.
Oh, I didn't realize you two were here for a history lesson.
Me neither. Paimon doesn't know what's gotten into this one today. Feels like we've been preparing for a history exam or something.
Today, we've been fast traveling, so we're not sailing a ship.
What brought this on? Did you just wake up today with a sudden burning desire for historical knowledge?
Pretty much. So, can I ask one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of Kabuki Mono connected to Tarasuna?
A Kabuki Mono? No, I can't say that I have. I do know the word, Inazuman for those eccentric types who always go around dressed to the nines. Just the sort of person that I'd like to meet, actually. But sadly, I've never had the pleasure, nor have I come across anything to do with a Kabuki Mono where Tatarasuna is
concerned. She just tuned out, so there's no more Kabuki Mono. Did the Balladeer really manage to erase himself from history completely? If so, he must have wanted to change the world and revert everything back to the way it was. But so far, it looks like the majority of changes have only affected himself. Thank you, Xavier.
Of course! Don't mention it.
Oh, we're leaving? Okay, bye, Xavier.
Oh, you're most welcome. More than happy to help.
Just like stringing Paimon along.
Farewell.
Bye, I'm gonna walk over here.
All the information
Kill
you're looking for.
him. He's alone on this beach. Nobody will ever know. Time to go back and see Lesser Lord Kusanali. I got thrown like over in those ghost ship over there with all the Kairagi and shit. Time to go back and see Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Sure, but what's up with you today? Whatever it is, it seems like it's really troubling you. Keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. No matter what happens, Paimon will always be there for you.
Alright, thank you, Paimon.
Hey, don't mention it. Alright, let's head off and go meet Nahida.
Keep that smile, Spinal Crocodile. Yep. Hey, wait, Nahida's here. Weird. Y'all having a little beach gathering?
Shine down.
The wind knows me.
Alright.
Hey, it's them.
Uh-oh. It's them. The people who actually read our 2 papers.
Akaba, Sawada, you're still here?
I hope they don't give me updated versions of the papers like, this is what actually... Can you see the differences? Are you still talking about the essay?
Indeed we are. If you have a moment, we'd love for you to join us once more.
We have time. What do you want to talk to us about?
It's the same topic we discussed last time. Obviously.
Still looking for more info about Tatara Suna, huh? Should we join them?
Perfect. These 2 have researched Tatara Suna's past. Let's hear what they have to say.
Unfortunately, we haven't made any real progress.
The article that you let me read last time was great. Can I read it again?
Huh? Oh, of course.
My God. Let me just glance over this. I'm not going to read this out loud again. This is more or less the same so far. I think it's exactly the same. You have to prevent theft. It's all the same. Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go. Here's the difference here. Thank you, game. This is actually very, very helpful. A great many of these rumors revolved around the yokai, who are so very characteristic of Inazuma's folk histories. A small portion, however, repeatedly mentions the word outsider. It should be known that the appearance of such a character who is suspected to be based on a real person is a very curious case. This fact drew the attention of researchers to delve further, and eventually the following pieces of information came to light. A foreign mechanic once visited Tatara Suna. Reportedly, the reason for his immigration was to exchange knowledge and forge ties with the locals. However, the mechanic seemed to behave suspiciously, often wandering around essential or restricted areas, and if someone tried to turn him away, they would only earn incomprehensible mumbles from his lips. The mechanic often stared into the furnace, seemingly to check on its condition. Unsettlingly, he also spent a substantial amount of time watching the local residents. Judging from the era, it was not uncommon to see cross-cultural exchanges of technological knowledge in places such as Tatara Suna after traveling across the tides. Foreign experts being welcome in the region was likely not unreasonable either. Yet calamity came not long after this exchange of knowledge, which hints at high potential for causation between these events. However, some current residents believe that these assumptions were merely the result of their forebears' overactive imaginations attempting to theorize how things actually unfolded. The mechanic. Long have I delved through many texts and documents, but I was ultimately unable to decipher even a specter of a clue as to his background. Still, mentions of the mechanic grew scarcer in the aftermath of the Tatarasuna incident. I speculate that instead of the mechanic possibly being a figure woven from overripe imaginations, he actually did exist, and perhaps even had a hand in the events that took place in Tatarasuna.
I presume you'll want to read mine as well. Here.
Yeah. Give me the highlights. Here we go. Miyazaki hid his grin. Upon hearing this, the jokes of the unlearned man is nothing before you. Niwa released the lizard from his hand into Katsuragi's palm, but just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps steady and confident. The head that appeared by the door was that of one from abroad. The newcomer placed some lunchboxes to one side, nodded, and made to leave. Katsuragi called out after him, "Sir, what about your meal? Are you not hungry?" The man smiled upon hearing Katsuragi's words. "I already ate. I hope that you, my lords, may also find some time to sate your hunger soon." "You're a guest, sir. To see you help in these trifling matters fill me with embarrassment," he said with sincerity. The man smiled as if it was no matter. Then, with a nod, he departed. Like a falling spear, the black cloud reached the bottom of the boat and was joined in its bereftness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plunged into the shoreline. Scant steps away, the mechanic laughed, slowly approaching the Grand Wreck. Not but half an arm was left of the one who had cried out for help, and with a plop it landed at the mechanic's feet, who crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite, yet he did not. The dark cloud swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. Why, each time I read that, does it sound like somebody got their arm blew off by lightning, and somebody's bending down to examine the fucking detached arm and take a bite out of it? What the fuck is that about? Why is this person a fucking cannibal? Like, I can't help it. I want to take a bite out of that arm that just fell off, or I just can't help it. Then a second ship was sent, followed by a third and a fourth. Each who left to seek salvation did so under foul skies and bleak fortunes. Reason dictated that they should not have risked anyone else, but the situation to Tatarasuna was severe. They needed to gain aid from Inazuma, even should it cost them more lives. This one's almost exactly the same, except it has mechanic in there instead of the Kabuki Mono. He basically he put the blame on the mechanic, which was the doctor. The content has changed. Another effect of tampering with information in Irminsul. The balladeer said he'd erased 2 of his names. If he really succeeded, he must have taken all of his might, but still.
Well, what do you think?
A masterpiece!
Hey, Traveler. Remember how last time Akaba was saying how he wished he could gather more information about all this? Well, we just got back from Inazuma. So how about we tell them what we learned?
Sure.
What did you find out? Something big?
I mean, if alternate realities is something big.
It's a long story. Basically, we have some friends in Inazuma, and...
You tell the 2 writers that what you learned about the Raiden Gokuden and Tatarasuna story.
So many new details. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Well, well. So it all comes down to one man's desire for revenge. Huh. You heard this from a member of the Amanoma clan, you say? Then I guess it must be true. Ugh. So there's no ghost story here after all.
Technically, no.
This new information actually lends further credence to my hypothesis. Evidently, swordsmiths were seen as having an incredibly prestigious role in society those days. to the extent that harming them was conceived of, at least by the perpetrator, as a way of exacting revenge against those in power.
Yes, okay, point taken, you were right. But that doesn't mean I can't carry on with my novel.
And they're back at it. These guys are really into this.
We got some things to take care of now. Bye for now.
Oh, so sorry. Look at us, prattling on about our projects and ignoring you. Thank you so much for the information.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. See ya.
Keep us in the loop if you find out anything else.
Will do.
Nahida! Nahida! He erased himself from history, Nahida! Did your head feel fuzzy in the last 24 hours, Nahida? Like your focus was shifted away from something you were hell-bent on?
Traveler, Paimon, how have you been?
Ugh, where to start? Paimon hasn't had a moment's rest this whole time. That night, we ended up chatting until suddenly the sun was up. And then she decided she wanted to go to Inazuma.
I was investigating the situation with the Balladeer.
The Balladeer? It sounds like some kind of code name.
Oh no.
You look troubled. Is there something you need to tell me?
Even Nahida doesn't remember, just like last time. Any changes to Ermin's will affect her as well. The Balladeer acted quickly. He finished erasing himself before Nahida could stop him. I'm the only one who remembers the things that were erased. Once again, I am the record keeper.
Traveler?
Hey, what's wrong? You look so upset.
There are things that have happened that only I can remember. I have to tell you the truth. With a heavy heart, you piece back together the story that was broken and scattered across time. There once was one named the Balladeer, created by the Elector of Archon. He was a puppet who lived among men. After a series of events in Tatarasuna, the Balladeer, thinking he had been thrice betrayed, left Inazuma to roam the world beyond. With no trust for humans, and only loathing for the gods, he bore his grudge for years as he grew in strength, then returned to Inazuma to take his revenge. He tried in vain to become a deity with a gnosis, and ended up losing everything. Finally, he entered Irminsul and learned the truth behind his betrayal. Knowing that his entire life was built on lies, he did the unthinkable in an attempt to reverse his tragic fate.
That's quite a story. So, this puppet known as the Balladeer erased himself from Irminsul, hoping that he could change the past.
But how was he even able to do that?
As the Traveler said, he very nearly became Sumeru's deity. Admittedly, I remember it a little differently. I don't recall finding anyone inside the machine after we defeated it. Nevertheless, it does make sense. If someone were to successfully erase themselves from Irminsul, the world would change to reflect the new reality.
So, you believe this person really existed, and we just don't remember him because, well, because he literally changed the world?
Yes. Theoretically speaking, it is possible to do this. But I'm struggling to imagine the kind of person who would dare go through with it.
Oh boy.
The Traveler comes from a world beyond Tevat. That's why there's no information about her in Irminsul. And it also explains why any changes to Irminsul wouldn't affect her.
It's almost like I'm in a storybook, and as the reader, I'm not affected by somebody erasing a line from the book.
So if there's anyone in the world capable of retaining memories from a past that has been rewritten, it's you. It's quite incredible when you think about it.
You can say that again.
Paimon's having a hard time understanding this Balladeer guy's motivations. Why did he do it?
I can only make inferences based on the information we've been given. As for what kind of person he was, only you remember that.
I'm really not sure. We were enemies, after all. I don't know his perspective on all this, so I can't say why he did something so extreme. Did he want to reset everything? Or save someone? Or did he want to completely undo his existence? Everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all. Maybe that's all there is to it. I still remember the question he asked. He asked me specifically, and my hesitation gave him his answer. I hesitated because I witnessed Great Lord Rukkhadevata erase her own existence, but I can't tell Nahida that. To put it another way, I know that why the Balladeer was so sure it could work, but I can't tell him that. Or I can't tell them that.
Something else worrying you? Something that you can't share?
I just feel empty. He chose such a radical option, and yet...
It couldn't change the fate of the ones who had died, right?
Yes.
Once the Balladeer realized he hadn't been betrayed after all, it must have completely changed his view of the people of Tatarasuna. Now he saw them as friends again. He couldn't keep hating humans after that. And if he thought there was a chance he could save his old friends, it would be hard not to try. The story makes sense, every part of it. The Balladeer tried to achieve godhood with the doctor's help. He was unsuccessful, but retained the power to connect with Irminsul. That power then enabled him to change what was recorded in Irminsul and erase himself, even though he didn't have much strength left.
Yeah, it does make sense, but it still ended in tragedy for his friends. It just feels so hopeless. He gave everything to do this, but it seems like he got nothing in return.
I guess a fresh start, if he's still out there? Yeah, he changed the world in many ways, and yet the dead still couldn't get a second chance. Those fated to a tragic end could not be saved. What exactly did he want to fight back against? The betrayals in his life? Or did he wish he'd never existed at all?
Please wait a moment. I want to check something. Found it. This should be the one.
What's this?
It turns out that I have a strange way of confirming everything she has told us.
You do?
What is it? A record from a personal collection. It was tucked away in a corner. You should take a look.
Surprisingly, the information is presented to you in a way that resembles a fairy tale.
Is this a fairy tale? Who wrote it?
This matches everything I said.
I authored this record myself.
Huh? You wrote a fairy tale that somehow has something to do with the Balladeer?
Since it's non-fiction, or since it is fiction, it didn't get affected by the story change.
When combined with the Traveler's narrative, it's clear that this story is an allegory. Everything in it is a symbol for something else.
That's a clever tactic.
Hold on. So this record survived from the past?
Yes. Any information about the Balladeer or the Kabuki Mono and other records will have been changed. But I wrote this story in a way that means it was left intact. Changing the information in Irminsul changes to that. But Irminsul can't change information that was well hidden in advance. I guess I must have written this story as a backup before the Balladeer entered Irminsul.
That's incredible! What a great idea!
It's pretty clever.
And sending the Traveler into Irminsul with the Balladeer must have been a further precaution. I knew she'd remember everything.
Couldn't have known that yet.
This story is abstract enough that it still resonates with the present information recorded in Irminsul. But if we connect all the different pieces together, the true story that emerges is the one she told us. The now erased life of the Balladeer. There was once a lone monster draped in fox fur. The monster found a family of foxes, joined them, and they became friends. The monster lived with the family day and night, and everyone treated it as one of their own. Once in a while, The monster would take off its fox fur at night and lament to itself as it gazed at its reflection in the water. I am a monstrosity, yet they are too foolish to see it. I pity them. But the monster soon found solace when another came to live among the foxes who was not their kin. A kitten, carved from the wood of a white tree, who had been abandoned by the humans.
Story time.
The kitten too wished to become a fox, but its tail was too slender, and it could not grow a coat of richly colored fur. Yet when the other foxes saw this, they spoke words of comfort to the kitten. Even without a tail and fur like ours, you are still one of us. Furious at this happy resolution, the monster lit a fire on the mountain. The terrified animals panicked as the fire spread. The only way to extinguish the flames was to make a sacrifice.
Why does Scary get to be a cute animal?
A gray fox stood up and addressed the monster. It said, "You are the cleverest among us. Surely you can help us find a way to solve this." The monster smiled, led the fox toward the fire, and murdered it. The gray fox's heart was turned into a beautiful drop of water, clear, spotless, and pure. The monster gave the heart of water to the kitten, telling him, "The foxes have decided. You are the one who must be sacrificed. Take this, quench the flames, and die for your fox kin."
Jesus Christ.
The fire was extinguished, but the kitten lived. It left that side of the mountain and found a little bird who had a broken wing. The two promised they would spend their whole lives together, but the little bird did not have long left to live. It passed away soon after. After burying the bird, the kitten left the mountain for good. Never again would it cherish a single creature, nor a single blade of grass that stood on that mountain. The kitten spent the nights wandering aimlessly, gnashing its teeth at the moon. How it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. If the world could only return to darkness, then it would finally be peaceful and content. I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Then, no one will know that there were once birds, foxes, and cats in this world. And no one can know that they were different.
We solved it!
I remember now. This is not just the Balladeer story. It is his very own memories. I made a backup so that it would be preserved no matter what happened. To become a god, he was experimented on and modified countless times. It was brutal torture, and the only reason he was able to survive is that he was a puppet. This memory was extracted from him by the scholars. Presumably, they kept it to have something to defend themselves with. Creating a deity was just the first step. Some of them wanted to be able to control it. That's why they backed up his memory for later use. I buried it deep inside one of my own dreams, and then hid it inside an allegorical story so that it wouldn't be altered.
It's hard to believe that this person really existed, let alone that he tried to get rid of us on more than one occasion. Paimon has no memory of him at all. He completely vanished like a puff of smoke.
The Balladeer agreed to help me look for information about the Descenders, and although he was unsuccessful, he still helped you. Before he vanished, he confirmed an important detail, that Conria was where your twin first came into this world. We still don't know how the change to Irminsul will affect the senior ranks of the Fatui, but in all likelihood, they won't even remember their own Harbinger.
Never had this feeling before. Feels like life is insignificant as a feather.
It sounds like Paimon wouldn't like this guy a whole lot if he was still around. But still, Paimon doesn't like the way it all ended that much better.
This is why wisdom alone cannot answer all our questions. We look, we see, and we comprehend, but the question still troubles us. So the answer is not everything. People yearn to find the truth and then conquer the troubles they face. When you give someone the truth, you give them a chance to choose their own destiny.
Choose your destiny. Flawless victory.
To others looking on, this may seem like a pointless endeavor, but for him, the chance to act on his desire to disappear must have meant a lot. Never forget that even when we walk beneath dark clouds along a road filled with suffering, the light of wisdom is always there, guiding us toward a better destination. And that is what you have been doing all along.
Yeah, Nahida's right. Cheer up! How about we go get something to eat? We can pick up this heavy conversation again later.
At this point, I was like, fine, okay, I feel bad for the goblin child. Yeah, he got fucked over and he got fully manipulated by the Fatui. His entire life was like literally puppeteered by the Fatui. The doctor, specifically.
Good idea. Paimon, why don't you take her out for a walk to clear her head?
Like, literally blindfolded an animal and started beating it on the head and just aiming it at things it didn't like. Just, like, sicking an angry blind cat at something that, after you smacked it on the head or something.
You got it! Come on, Traveler! You need to get out of your head for a while. You'll feel much better after taking a walk.
It's like just setting it at a pit and just letting it wreak havoc on stuff around it.
Let's go get a snack from one of the stalls in the Grand Bazaar. That'll be sure to lift our spirits.
Nahida?
There's a few things I'd like to look into. You should go take a walk and try to unwind.
It must be really tough being the only one who remembers all that. But Paimon's always here to help cheer you up.
That's good. Of course, you blinked midway through.
Something on your mind again? Let's work through it together. Two heads.
Better than one. Yeah, tell me about it. Two heads are better than one. Grand Bazaar, this is the... Straight to it. Two heads better than one.
I see everything.
Oh, you're a nameless NPC, right? You don't have anything to say. But what about... We're children! We're children! We're children! Blacksmith?
Everyone?
I hope the children are doing well.
They're children! They're children! I wonder if we'll see the Wanderer. I have a nagging feeling like there's something I'm missing. Something important that I'm forgetting.
Hey, are you gonna answer or what?
Sorry, it's just... Give me a minute. I'm still processing.
Alright, whatever you want. Well, Paimon will be right here when you figured stuff out. Then we can get something to eat.
Come on, brain. Let's dig this out. It's gotta be in there somewhere. There was something about Urban Soul and deleting oneself. Greater Lord Brukadavana, forbidden knowledge. Nahida.
What is it? Have you figured it all out?
Yes, that's it. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. She said that no one can erase themselves from existence, not even her. Otherwise, why would she need to create her own reincarnation in Lesser Lord Kusanali to do the deletion for her? There would be no point.
Why'd you jump up all of a sudden?
No, I can't tell Paimon. She doesn't know about Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. But this is a crucially important detail. It's simply not possible for the Balladeer to completely erase his own existence. In which case, the question is, what happened to him?
Excuse me, boss. There seems to be a small problem with the last bill. Look, here.
Mm-hmm. You.
Hey! Hey, wait!
Hmm? You mean me?
No, not you. That kid! Didn't you see? Little rascal grabbed my last 2 fresh Sunsettias and ran off.
There he is.
Look, if you're gonna help out here, you can't keep spacing out, okay? What is it? Work's too boring for you? Or has the big city got too many distractions?
I wasn't paying close enough attention. Sorry, boss. I think you're right. Maybe it's the city. It's so exciting. It can be hard to focus.
Who's that guy? You know him or something?
That guy is the Balladeer.
He's who?
You're a strange one, kiddo. You say you don't want any money for helping out here, and then when I actually give you some work to do, you keep letting yourself get distracted. I don't want to take advantage, so I'm happy to pay you what I'd pay anyone else. But if you keep acting like this, pretty soon I won't be able to afford to.
No, please. I mean it. You don't need to pay me anything. I'm just so thankful you agreed to take on an outsider like me.
You're welcome, I guess. But I got bigger things to worry about. Look, we're all out of Sunsettias, and I promised the lady down the street I'd deliver a fruit bowl this evening.
Leave it to me. I'll find some more. Just a moment. I'll be right back.
Stop. I'm gonna level with you, kiddo. I've never met a worker who said they didn't want a wage before. And at first, I got greedy. Couldn't believe my luck. But I figured you'd start asking for something in return eventually. You don't want money. You don't take days off. And in your free time, all I see you do is wander around, taking in the sights. Are you a drifter or something?
That's right, I am.
A wanderer, you could say.
We can talk more about that later. First, let me get those fruits you needed. Sunsettias, was it? I'll be right back.
Hey, what do we do now?
Let's follow him.
Okay, stay out of sight. Don't let him see you.
Follow the person you just saw. But he went... Hello?
That was a good batch of Sunsettias, too. Just an honest guy doing some honest business.
Yeah. Like taking on a person that doesn't have any pay. Honestly honest. That's me. Honest honestly. Honestly.
Yeah, this'll do.
Even though you say he's the Balladeer, what are we planning on doing? Stealing his Sunsettias? Isn't that a bit too cruel?
Shush.
Oh, alright.
This should be enough. Guess I should wash them before I take them back.
I wasn't seeing this guy with my own eyes. I would never believe it.
Huh? You two over there. Is there something I can help you with?
He spotted us!
You've been following me all the way from the city. I'd have to be blind not to notice.
You're right, we were following you.
Have we met before? No, we haven't met. But you know me?
Yes.
I have no recollection.
It's complicated, but I do know you.
Are you absolutely sure?
Sorry, but I just can't take your word for it.
I can prove it. You're a puppet.
A puppet? What makes you think that?
Huh?
You were right. The look on his face.
I guess you do know me after all. That is not something I share with a lot of people. Look, I'm just a wanderer. But seeing as you've gone through all this trouble to track me down, I'm sure whatever it is must be important.
There's somewhere I want to take you.
Okay, but please let me deliver these goods to my boss first.
Are you really working for that guy? He said you don't want any more for it. Is that true?
Yes, I ran into him out in the wilderness during a storm, and he let me take shelter in his cart. In return, I said I'd be his helper for a while.
That's oddly nice of you.
Let me take these back. Then I'll come with you, okay?
Alright.
Then let's return to the city.
So when does his goblin personality come back? Because when you play as him, he's like, kneel, worm, and he does his little stomping thing. Right? He still has that personality. So when's the other shoe gonna drop? Literally.
Here you go, boss. I'll leave them right here.
Oh, you really went and picked some more. Who are these two?
How the fuck do you not know me?
Something's come up, and they need to borrow me. Sorry, boss. I'm afraid I'll be away from the stall for a while.
I was just about to pay you anyway. Go wherever you want, kid. Don't waste your time here.
What?
I get it,
You're
okay?
fired.
You just wanted to help me out, to thank me for giving you shelter from the rain that day. Even then, I don't understand why you're so adamant that you don't want any pay for it. But look, it was pouring down, and there you were, sauntering along without a care in the world, like you had nowhere to be and didn't even care that it was raining. Imagine you were me for a second. It's a little weird, right? Why is this guy traveling during a rainstorm if he's not trying to get somewhere? And why is he taking a shortcut through the open country if he's not even in a hurry? But anyway, taking you in didn't put me out even slightly. You don't owe me a thing for it. Certainly not all this. Your time is valuable. You know, you should go live your life.
But I don't...
Yeah, I don't have a life.
No, you're right. Then I suppose this is where we say goodbye. Thank you again for taking me into the city.
Don't mention it, kiddo. I've run into all kinds of characters over the years. I just hope you find your path.
Thank you.
You're overqualified. Now get out of here.
All right, done. Thanks for waiting for me. We can go now.
To Nahida. Nahida, I already found him. He was just in the city.
What's wrong? Huh? Are you?
Hello. I do apologize for the sudden intrusion.
We found this guy in the street, but he doesn't seem to remember anything. So, yeah, quite an eventful walk.
You tell Lesser Lord Kusanali what happened in the Grand Bazaar.
You say that you were trekking across Teyvat to train yourself. Many other Inazumans who describe themselves in this way call themselves Shugenja. Why do you refer to yourself as a wanderer?
Well, it seems more relevant in my case. To me, it sounds like a plant with no roots. But these two claim that they know me, and that I have a hidden past unknown even to myself.
I wouldn't call it the past, but rather... this is a difficult one to explain. I don't like to rely on using terms like this often, but in your case, it seems that it ought to be called, previous incarnation.
Oh, like a past life or something?
Yes, something far more distant than the past. So far away that you cannot perceive it.
Okay, I have to ask. What was I like in my previous incarnation?
You were a little shit.
Oh, okay. I see. You want to tell me, but you can't bring yourselves to say it. Looks like I didn't have the most wonderful existence in my previous incarnation.
We're just trying to think where to start.
If it's that difficult to talk about, I have no doubt it will be just as difficult to hear. But I'll be able to handle it. Please, tell me the truth.
Is truth something you care a lot about?
Yes.
Then I'll be straight with you. In your previous incarnation, you did many things that would be considered evil. You nearly died because of what other people did, and many died because of you. As a non-human being, you hated gods and humans alike. You drifted from place to place, never able to settle, even where you found status and identity. You adamantly believed that you were missing a heart. Actions rooted in persistence sometimes bear bitter fruit. Sometimes, you have to let parts of yourself go, or you'll never be happy.
He tells Wander about his past.
I gave everything I had, but it barely changed history at all.
In terms of the outcome alone, that's true.
I don't think I can judge everything I've heard purely in terms of right and wrong. Each choice a person makes belongs to a specific place and time, a chain of cause and effect, a cycle of karma and consequence.
That is the nature of truth. If one thing is right, its opposite must be wrong. And yet, dichotomies like this are not enough to explain the world in all of its complexity.
It seems like my previous incarnation wasn't the most likable individual.
We're not trying to hurt your feelings or anything, but yeah, we weren't your biggest fans.
We were each other's enemies.
If we were enemies, why are you trying to help me find the truth?
This is so frustrating! This guy's supposed to be our arch enemy, but now he's just some random stranger we met on the street!
I wonder if that's how some Scaramouche fans feel, like, he's not the same!
He's got so much to answer for, but we can't make him talk because he doesn't remember anything. What a weird situation.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, as the God of Wisdom, I trust that everything you told me must be true.
Yes, it's all true. I can even show you the memories themselves, if you're willing.
Please, I want to see them for myself. I want to experience my own transgressions.
Even though it will cause your present self great mental anguish?
I'm just a puppet, with no heart and no name. There is nothing in this world for me to cling to fill the void within me. Except maybe these sins that can never be undone.
Very well. As you wish.
Wait, shouldn't we go with him? This one's kind of on us for bringing him here.
Don't worry. Whatever danger I might face, it's my burden to bear.
Traveler, could I ask you to supervise him on my behalf?
Okay.
Oh, good point. Given your, unique situation, we'd better keep an eye on you.
Understood.
Thank you. Now, prepare yourselves, everyone. It's time to get ready.
Oh!
Time to face the music.
Scaramouche has a line of dialogue with Nahida's mind read ability.
No matter what lies ahead, I'll face it. Whatever it takes. I'm just sorry that you have to join me for the whole thing.
Nahida doesn't have it as well, right? Okay, I didn't think so.
Time to face the music. No matter what lies ahead.
Sorry. Oh, got a dungeon. A domain.
This looks like Inazuma.
Right now, you're in a dream I created using information extracted from your memories. These memories will show you the raw truth, but be aware that enemies may react just like in the real world. Please be careful.
You didn't have to do this, Nahida.
Sounds like an immersive experience. It's a good thing we came along.
You don't need to do this for me. I don't deserve your protection.
We never give up halfway. Well, we had to once, but that was your doing.
Now we're just finishing the job.
All right. Thanks.
Wanderer, this is the Shake Pavilion. In your Balladeer incarnation, this is where the Electro Archon placed you after your creation. You had a great many memories here.
Is that because this is kind of like his birthplace?
You could say that, in a sense. You'll see why shortly.
I hear footsteps.
This place is huge. I can't believe the landslide didn't fill it in. I wonder who built it. The Crystal Marrow Miners? No, there's no way. Look at this exquisite construction work, and so well preserved, too. No mining crew would be capable of this. There's someone passed out on the ground.
Who are you?
You're awake. What happened? How'd you get stuck here? Are you injured? Huh. Not a scratch. And these fine clothes. Who are you?
This man is Katsuragi, deputy to Torichiyo's adopted son, Mikoshi Nagamasa. He found the Balladeer in Shake Pavilion and took him back to Tatarasuna.
And the rest is history. Well, it used to be.
In the original version of events, Katsuragi was ultimately killed by Nagamasa.
Let me get you out of here. Our people are nearby. Hang in there.
During the Tatarasuna incident, Niwa was murdered by the doctor, disguised as a mechanic. The Balladeer, then known as the Kabukimono, disappeared not long after. As the second in command at Tatarasuna, responsibility for what had happened fell to Mikoshi Nagamasa. But Katsuragi had sworn lifelong loyalty to Nagamasa after the latter had once saved his life. At Katsuragi's insistence, Nagamasa killed him to put an end to the Tatarasuna incident.
Katsuragi seems like he was a good guy.
He looks like a warrior, but he has a kind face. Why couldn't he live a long and happy life?
Nagamasa, I found this young guy in a cave sealed off by a landslide. He doesn't remember his name.
Well, we need to call you something. I hear the workers are calling you the Kabukimono.
That's fine with me.
Katsuragi, report to Niwa. Tell him we have someone new joining us.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Why did I come back here? Damn it. I can't do anything. I can't glide. I can't dive bomb. I can't use my burst by anything. I can use a... Okay. All right. Yeah, I found a glitch spot.
This looks like Ina. Right now, these memories sounds
Right around the first corner in this area.
To do this for me.
We never give up halfway.
All right.
Wanderer, is that because you...
I hear foot.
This place is huge. No, there's... Hmm? You're... Huh.
This man is... And the rest is his... In the original...
Let me get you...
During the Tatarasuna incident, Niwa was murdered by the doctor, discussed as the second in... But Katsuragi...
Okay.
Katsuragi seems like he was a good guy.
He looks like a warrior.
Holding on to Kazuha, because, so what I did...
Why couldn't he live a long and happy life?
Nagamasa, I found this young guy in a cave sealed off by a landslide.
I went over here.
He doesn't remember his name.
And I just fell right here.
We need to call you something. I hear the workers are calling you the Kabuki Mono.
I just was I was perpetually falling right here.
Katsuragi, report to Niwa.
With Nahida.
Tell him we have someone new joining us.
Maybe it's only with short characters? Well, Kazuha can get out of it if it happens again, so I'm just going to run around with him. Trap. Several traps.
Huh? What are we doing back here?
I hear voices.
Whoa, this is where you were born? It's pretty, but there's nobody here.
Cover your fucking mouth.
I was abandoned, like you. I lived here for a while at first, but there's nothing for us here. We can't stay.
Okay. I heard my mom and dad used to make swords, but the factory manager died, and then my dad got sick. He kept coughing all the time, just like me. Then Mom started coughing too.
But you can't. You promised me.
Yup, we're family now. We're gonna be together forever and ever.
Till the child dies of illness, and this is the bird with the broken wing that ends up dying in the fairy tale.
This child didn't have a name. Or rather, the balladeer didn't know what to call him. His father died before he could name him. After his mother died, the child stayed in their straw hut alone. Some of the neighbors helped to raise him. After leaving Tatarasuna, the balladeer ran into this child who didn't have a name, just like him. They made a promise to live together.
What happened to the child then?
He died from his illness while he was still very young. The balladeer came home one day and found that he had stopped breathing.
Hey! What's wrong? Say something! You promised me we could be family! You're no different from Niwa and all the others. You betrayed me too. voices have gone. It looks like the memory ends here.
Let's keep going.
Solidify!
Guess we're doing that. Betrayal by the fucking domain.
You do realize you're blocking my path.
I come not to obstruct you. I've been waiting. What you are truly is a weapon. One that can be wielded with an iron will. Or you could continue to drift aimlessly.
Are you trying to win me over?
The long-fated rebellion has begun. Why not take your place at the banquet and join those who shall feast?
I thought for sure there was going to be a treasure chest behind there. Now this seems familiar.
This is dark.
Paimon knows this place. It's the Delusion Factory in Inazuma.
Where we met the Balladeer.
In the original version of events, the Traveler once encountered the Balladeer here.
Such a creepy atmosphere. And so familiar.
I remember this. It was an unsettling place.
Hey, look over there.
Well, well, my fair lady. Is this rundown factory and these incompetent fools all for me? Wow. You shouldn't have.
Huh. What do you have to gain from belittling your subordinates? You might not want to admit it, but you are a part of this plan. Perhaps you find fighting in the Abyss to be a more meaningful use of your time? Oh, but of course, even this pales in comparison to being experimented on by the Doctor.
What a sharp tongue you have. Funny how negotiating never seems to be your strong suit. For the task ahead, I suggest you keep your true feelings to yourself.
Save your breath. I know what I have to do.
I'm sure you think so, but I still think you need to hear it. Don't start thinking you're invincible, and don't let your emotions get in the way.
Surely you're not worried about me.
Oops.
I just can't have you getting in my way. You and Child never fail to find ways to complicate things.
He doesn't even like Child.
I'm merely lighting a little fire in this chaotic nation. But you, being tossed out like trash, must make you want to destroy it completely. Do you remember the last time you were here? That was a lot of swordsmiths you killed. I'm sure the descendants of the Raiden Gokaden are still suffering the consequences now. Look at you. Oh, don't get so sentimental. Now, give that poor little tongue of yours a rest and stop pretending like you're above everyone else. Bye then. See you at the victory feast.
Your funeral.
Poor little tongue? She's playing with fire talking to me like that. Who does she think she is? Forget it. Someone might find me here any minute now. I should prepare to give them a warm welcome.
The plot does not end here. There is more of this story to come. Wanderer, are you able to continue?
Yes. Please don't worry about me.
Why are you staring at me in silence? Can't you think of a nicer way to express yourself?
I'm under no obligation to be nice to you. Besides, I thought nothing mattered to you except results in your own interests. Isn't that right, witch?
Muddle-headed puppet. You're only number 6 because you can take more abuse than other humans. Do you really count that as an asset?
You're about as much fun to be around as a raging inferno. But before we murder each other, it'd be best if we finish our duties.
Oh, this
Looks
place.
like we've arrived in Sumeru. Is that?
Considering that Amorta's sage, Nafis, refused to join this project, I'll take part in the experiment in his place.
Welcome. I look forward to a fruitful collaboration.
When do we start?
You seem impatient. You should know that becoming a god is far from a trivial affair.
The biological transformation is a lengthy process. As such, I too would recommend that we commence as soon as possible. In the event that a successful connection is established, his body will become permanently bound to the machine, and he will be unable to move independently of it.
Nothing worse than what I've been through before then, Doctor.
You were the most resilient test subject I ever came across. Thanks to you, I was able to garner a great deal of information. Alas, after that, you were under orders to remain in the Abyss. We barely saw each other, and it became difficult to further refine the knowledge I had gained.
That was gracefully worded. Ever wonder what they think if they knew that nothing matters to you, apart from your crazy experiments?
I suggest you speak to me in a more respectful tone, Scaramouche. The mere fact of your utility does not make you indestructible.
The doctor again? That was uncomfortable to watch.
That person gives off a very sinister energy.
He's the doctor. He's behind all of this.
It's normal for him to give you the creeps. He scares the bejeebers out of Paimon.
Bejeebers. Can't say bejesus.
Let's move on.
That mean that Jesus in this universe is called Jeebers? Save me, Jeebers!
You're a god. Do you think I'm evil?
If you accept that he is you, just as you are you, then yes, you are evil.
In your eyes, are there any differences between humans and puppets?
Do you think there are any differences between your present self and your previous and future incarnations? If not, then what are the differences between humans and puppets? Whoever has tasted the joys and sorrows of life in the human realm is human. Whoever has loved and lost, cried with grief, howled with rage at the tragedy of death that eclipses the miracle of life, they are human too.
I've seen enough of my past. If possible, I'd like to reclaim the sins that are mine to bear. No matter the consequences, I won't run from blame or punishment. Whatever I am due, let it come to pass.
Are you saying...
Can you return my memories to me?
Huh? But won't that mean you'll lose your current identity?
Oh boy.
I've always believed that human lives follow a set of rules, with each person being a collection of past experiences. As a puppet living in a human world, my life is subject to the same rules.
I guess he doesn't get the easy way out.
Regaining your memories means reverting completely to your previous incarnation. All the emotions that you discarded will return to you. Are you sure you want to do this?
I've lived with a void in my chest my whole life. My creator didn't need me. And ever since I awoke, I've just drifted from one place to the next. But then I met you. And I finally realized that reclaiming my missing sins might be my one opportunity to become my true self.
Is this the true meaning of Great Lord Rukkhadevada's words? A person can't erase themselves, and even though the original balladeer has gone, this person will live on in his place? Are a person's sins an inescapable part of their destiny, too?
I've always felt I have an innate tendency to yearn for something more, in a way that goes deeper than for most people. But for all my soul-searching as a Shugenja, I've never fully understood it. Looking at it now, it seems that I brought this curse upon myself. So I beg you, grant me this opportunity to gain a purpose, to change my destiny, and end my wandering.
Very well. Since your mind is made up, I will return to you that which is yours.
Oh boy. Time for the shitlord to come back.
Now, take this.
Set him free?
A puppet? What's he doing here? You're a human as far as I'm concerned.
Everyone's here. Wonderful.
What a fine blade. Nagamasa will be thrilled.
This is my...
Is he alright?
They'd fight this like 1,000 times.
All worthless dross will be purged. That's why this won't be the end.
Okay.
This is trying my patience.
Have you got all your memories back now?
You got any more stupid questions?
Feeble human.
At my command, you shall fall. You're dead. The wind rises.
Insignificant pest.
Quick fall. Wretched vermin. My endless cycle. Begin. How amusing. I'm used to this.
Jesus Christ, I don't have any fucking shield or anything. He's not the person for this fight. Like, it makes sense in some ways, like, oh, you can dodge it by doing that, but not really. You can spam his charge attack as long as you're in the air.
Insignificant past! You're dead! Unsightly insects! Feeble human! Squalor fury! Behold! Churn!
Okay. How many pulls did it take you for Wanderer? All it took was a cutscene. I'm doing the Archon quest right now. Hey, Sarum. Yeah, this is part of the new Archon quest. They force you to play as only the Wanderer for that little bit there.
Imbecile! Get out of my sight.
It disappeared. Did we win?
I did get to try him out in the trial though. He's good. He's as far as mobility goes, he's unrivaled. The only thing anybody else has on him is Kazuha's mid-air jump. But Scaramouche or Wanderer can fucking literally fly, like straight upwards, and it doesn't use stamina. It uses his like specific air stamina. So if you were like to fly straight upwards until the stamina bar is empty and then like cling to a wall, you still have your own stamina. But you couldn't do a Kazuha style jump off the wall, do an air jump, and then go back to it. So he doesn't have the infinite climbing potential like Kazuha does. But his flying around shit is no joke. He's straight DPS, but he's not like tippy top tier or anything like that. He's in normal good territory. About as good as Nahida as far as DPS goes.
What did you expect? I'd never lose to that.
There's that tone of voice again. You're definitely back to your old self.
I mean, do you remember Paimon?
Wait, but it was you inside that thing too. What have you got to be smug about?
Sorry. I'm harsh on myself and everyone else. Just the way I am.
Now you've recovered your memories, the past will catch up with you.
You sound like you're concerned about me.
He'll mix with my cookie team well. I think he will work for any team not currently with a DPS. Because Animo is a pretty decent DPS with the swirl nonsense that goes on.
But don't worry. Thanks to you, even if I didn't change a thing, at least I now know the truth.
The memory recovery seems to have been a success. This dream has served its purpose.
Come on. Let's continue this outside.
So that's where his shitty attitude comes back. I don't get the materials for this, right? Shit. Okay.
Welcome back, traveler. Paimon, Balladeer.
It feels like we just went on a really long journey. Paimon's exhausted.
You don't like being addressed by that name?
It's fine. But I was just thinking, I should probably change it.
You won't go by the Balladeer anymore?
After learning about everything the doctor did, there's no way I can carry on using a name connected to him. I'm not planning on returning to the Fatui, and they wouldn't take me back anyway. Recent events will have affected a lot of people, and they might not even remember who the Sixth is.
So, you're quitting the Fatui for good?
Let's call it a tactical retreat.
It's like you said, Lesser Lord Kusanali. Everything may look futile, but it wasn't completely meaningless. At least I made a lot of people forget about me.
But that doesn't mean your own past has disappeared.
Of course.
And your main goal, for which you gave up everything you had, You weren't able to achieve it. I hope you can see and understand that. Changing the world, changing the past, changing the fates of other people, these are not simple things to accomplish. What you are looking for is complete annihilation. But this is just a fantasy. Even if the Balladeer is removed from existence, the world will not heed your will.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Scaramouche, Scaramouche!
Indeed. How ridiculous.
Do you regret doing all that when you've gotten so little in return?
Even if I'm completely worthless, there's nothing in the world worth regretting. Lesser Lord Kusanali, you purposely left that information in Irminsul, didn't you?
Yes, and I took pains to make sure that you'd acquire that information naturally.
Why would you go to such lengths? You trying to win me over too?
In all honesty, your past experiences have made you a useful asset to Sumeru and to me. Winning you over was indeed a part of my plan. But before that, I wanted to tell you the truth about your past. If all I wanted to do was use you, then I'd be no different from the doctor.
Very clever.
I guess you could say that's one of my virtues.
Utility to others is what gives me worth. So if embracing my sins is what it takes to make me useful again, so be it.
Nahida doesn't see you in that way.
Oh right, I almost forgot. You're the good guys. You're into justice and all that. Sorry if I have a slightly different perspective on things, but I don't feel like I've been duped. The wisest leaders are fated to end up with the best helpers. I can live with that.
I'm glad you're able to think of it in that way. Traveler, in the future, I'll continue to search Irminsul more deeply and see what secrets can be uncovered, including the beginning of your twins' journey recorded in Irminsul. What exactly happened before and after that point? I want to know as well.
Thank you. Let's hope you can find some answers.
I will try.
Traveler.
Yes?
After I dove into the information torrents in Irminsul, why did you go to Inazuma?
Because I wanted to know what you changed.
So that's how you found out whose fate had changed. And how. Well, whatever your reasons, you did me a favor. And I'll do everything I can to pay it back.
I didn't do all this for a reward, unless I was earning you as a party member. Please don't make it sound like I'm extorting you.
Borrowing and returning are the only real relationships between individuals. I'll balance the books one day. Don't you worry.
That's not true. A relationship between two people is not simply a ledger that can be reset to zero. I think deep down you realize this.
Oh.
People who show up in your life don't just evaporate like water drops and leave nothing behind. There is no such thing as balancing the books. Some things in this world can never be brought back, and they can never be changed, which is why there is emotion in the human world. Everything that you feel is real and lasting, and whatever is missing in you will not be made whole. To be human is to live with imperfections. You can choose whether or not you want to be human.
But humans can't live without a heart, can they? Anyway, I gave up trying to become a human a long time ago.
You understand what pain is perfectly well, even without a heart. You're just bearing your feelings. The past is set in stone, but you can keep moving on. And the longer your future lasts, the shorter your past will become, until one day, it is but a tiny fraction of your life.
Sounds like you've got a future planned out for me.
I hope you can give Nahida a chance.
Everything's ended up being pretty darn complicated. Paimon doesn't even know where to start, but the most important thing now is that you need to follow Nahida. Otherwise, all our efforts will have been for nothing.
Bye. I'm a wanderer. I wander.
Then I guess I'll be helping you from behind the scenes from now on.
I'm glad that you've accepted our proposal. Why don't you choose a new name to celebrate?
Ooh, ooh, ooh! Paimon wants to pick an ugly nickname for you, too!
Wow.
Why?
Because Paimon still doesn't like you that much.
Then I hope we don't see much of each other in the future.
A name is life's first gift. You didn't say it out loud, but I know that's what you're thinking. The Traveler and Paimon have helped you a lot. If you can't decide on a new name, maybe you can ask them for ideas.
Huh? You want us to decide?
No, Paimon only does nicknames. If it's a serious name you're after, it's all yours.
Please let me.
You got anything?
Please let me choose a name. Name change rules? What the fuck? You can... Hold up. You can obtain the item an ablative stroke from the Archon Quest interlude in version of Genesis, which will allow you to change Eons Adrift Wanderer Animo's name. What the fuck? Please take note that some names cannot be utilized in this change. Once you've renamed this character, some interfaces in the game going forward will display the name that you've chosen. There's a limit on the number of times you can rename the character, so do so with care. Oh my god. Disclaimer, travelers, please ensure that you follow our terms of service while using this function to create a healthy gaming environment. Please read and confirm that you will not instigate or take part in the creation of content that discriminates against race, gender, sexual, religion, bullying, yeah. We may restrict your use. Okay, so don't put in... Okay. This is actually really cool. Okay. We're naming a Pokemon. Give me a sec. Okay. I'm going with Pokemon things, the way I've named Pokemon. I'm looking for inspiration here. Huh? Never gonna guess what I named him. So, no legendary Pokemon nicknames? Got it. Are they just gonna call it... Well, okay. Here's the thing. Are they gonna pull like a Traveler bullshit? Where instead of your name that's typed out, they say Traveler? His name is Diaper Chief? Oh my god, that's what you named him? Oh god. Let's see here. I think I have a good name. It's hard for me to pick a goofy name for him, unfortunately, so I need to look up how to spell this specifically. I wonder if they have a paste function. They do. It just looks a little weird. Give me a second, let me, Still looks a little weird. You can only rename him one more time after this. So, Fujin and Raijin were the gods of wind, wind and thunder, and Raiden, literally his mom. I think Fujin definitely fits, especially since he has that ring behind him when he's flying around. I think Fujin's the best choice. The best canonical choice. Otherwise, Wanderer. But, I'm not gonna give it the little fucking, the line over it, because the Raiden isn't spelled that way either. Raijin. Raiden. Yeah, Raijin, also known as Kaminari-sama, Raiden-sama, Narukami, Raikau. Yep. Fujin, wind god, or Futen, the Japanese god of wind and one of the eldest Shinto gods. Portrayed as a terrifyingly wizardly demon, resembling a red-headed, green-skinned humanoid wearing a leopard skin. I guess I could show the Wikipedia page. Carrying a large bag of winds on his shoulders. In the Japanese art, the deity is often depicted together with Raijin, the god of lightning, thunder, and storms. Raiden's got the, you've seen it on the back of my characters many, many times. Got nothing on Diaper Chief. This dude looks like a fucking gremlin, right? This is definitely Scaramouche. This little shit. Alright, Fujin it is.
Are you sure?
Don't make... Yes, I think this will do. Don't make me think about it too much.
Oh, alright. If you say so.
There. Now you have a name of your own.
What about a nickname? Are you done yet?
Nickname.
Still thinking. Stop rushing me!
He compliments you if you choose your own name? Really?
Take your time. I don't need to see you again until you've thought of one.
What are you planning to do next?
Everyone who manipulated me and made me suffer will have to pay the price.
So, okay, hold up. Does that mean if you pull this guy in the gacha, like, he'll actually have this name? That'd be pretty crazy.
You mean the Fatui?
You don't think so? Oh, that'd be lame. That would be lame that you would name him and then have him in your party and he's not the fucking... whatever.
The doctor, at least.
Now that your stance has changed, I believe your future path will change accordingly. But it won't be immediate. You still need some time to compose yourself.
The name looks pretty natural, honestly. I'm glad I didn't have the fucking line over the U. That would have bugged me.
One more thing. There are still some descendants of the Raiden Gokuden living in Inazuma. Some of them know. Well, they ought to know about the connection between Raiden Gokuden and myself.
Gotta have the Diaper Chief in my team. Diaper Chief.
I don't plan to leave Sumeru for the time being. If you see them in Inazuma, please tell them that I was the one responsible for the Raiden Gokuden's downfall. Even though the events have been erased from the world, they still deserve to know the truth.
I see. That is up to you.
Huh? But if we do that, then...
It's fine. Let them stab their blades into my chest if they so desire. Maybe that's how it always should have been.
Fine.
No nonsense. I like it. Alright, let's call it a day. Goodbye, wise deity. And you too.
He's gone.
What he went through today would have been like living an entire lifetime in an instant. He'll need some time to calm down.
Yeah, true. But even so, after everything that's happened, he doesn't seem quite as fierce anymore.
There were always some bumps along the way, but it's all over now.
So we can finally go eat? Paimon is starving.
Thank you both. I hope you will find somewhere nice to go and relax for a while.
I was able to read Scaramouche with Nahida's ability, and he actually had a unique line of dialogue.
I've got it! I can end my novel with some words from Mikoshi Nagamasa.
You mean because everyone else in the story is dead?
Yeah, I heard that Mikoshi Nagamasa died at a ripe old age. He's the perfect fit to be the narrator of the epilogue. The dark clouds had dissipated, but they continued to cast their shadow in Mikoshi Nagamasa's mind for decades to come. Then, one night, as an old man, he had a dream. On the night when that prized blade, the Daitatara Nagamasa, was forged, the people rejoiced, and there was painting, dancing, and drinking. All these expressions of joy melted down in the furnace fire and turned into red clouds that rallied around the final sunrise that Mikoshi Nagamasa saw in his lifetime.
Sure.
Life is a story too long to be told, a journey that you must walk to behold.
So wait, did we get an item that allows us to change his name? Is that what happened? Nope. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this on stream, but this little twig, basically the last part of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, part of the Tree of Irminsul, is actually in Nahida's hair, that little leaf she has there. So whenever you use her abilities, it glows. That's her, You do get an item, but you might need to finish it. Shut it!
Stabilize!
I lost the fowl. Scree! 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 Well, I was thinking about doing the card step, but I might have to hold off on that, honestly. I've been going for nearly 4 hours, and I can't stay up too late, so... Did you see the first update after Nahida banner, they changed her sound? Which sound?
It's about time we had a break. As soon as you stop, all the tiredness and hunger comes rushing back.
Rest up, Paimon. Instead of a Mario coin, it has a softer beep? What are you talking about, like when she does her attacks? Rest up, Paimon. I'll buy some delicious treats as a reward. The last combo attack song. I'll have to listen to it and see.
Wow, great! Huh? Look at that vase.
What about it?
Did someone break it while they were cleaning the room or something? But Paimon doesn't remember there being a cleaner.
Paimon, you broke it. That night we stayed here, Paimon bumped into the table after being startled by something to do with the balladeer and broke the vase. But the balladeer erased his existence. He changed the world. So why is the vase still broken?
You sound lost and confused.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Who is that? Is that another god?
I know why you are troubled. Any who knew of this would find their mind overwhelmed.
Huh? Is there someone here talking to us?
Unfortunately, the fate of Tevat cannot easily be changed. Perhaps a god may have a slim chance,
But for anyone else, who can say? When a small animal runs into a tree trunk, though the tree may sway, it is not displaced. The same is true of fate. Like a vase that falls to the ground, whether it is broken by a cat or by a bird, the result is still a broken vase, is it not?
Who are you? How do you know about all this?
History does not change easily, but human hearts can. Believe your own eyes. Only that which you see is true. What is unseen is but an illusion.
The voices disappeared. And who the heck was that? And what were they doing coming out of nowhere and saying all that scary stuff?
Methinks we were contacted by another god from the next country over. Believe my eyes. What does she mean? I should trust my memories?
Anyway, that vase is still lying there broken on the ground. Should Paimon go get someone to clean it up? It feels wrong just leaving it there. Just a moment. Paimon will be right back.
I wonder what else awaits me in the future. Inversion of Genesis. Quest completed! Should leave the broken vase there. Okay, so we got this. The card game. The new fucking card game got added to the game, but that took an hour to do. So this is the name change thing. The brush with which you may bestow a new name upon a certain person. Once the new name has been given, it cannot be changed. It's almost like we're rewriting history. Oh my god. Alright, so... hold on. It is a little softer. Like I said, in my game, he can earn himself a nice name. I think the fact that he let you rename him is fun. He's like, fine, rename me into something cool. Diaper Chief? I quite possibly named him directly after something he's really based on. Alright, so all that's left for me to do is this card game thing, which I'm not doing today. I could probably do it tomorrow. Assuming I'm not totally wiped after work. But this was fun. This, I think this was a good Archon quest, honestly. It had some backstory for the Balladeer. We're getting very close to me being able to get to full, guaranteed 2 pulls. So let's see here. The math. 90 wishes per person, right? To get a guaranteed 5-star. But if you lose the 50-50, that's 180 wishes. And then if you want to get 2 people, let's say you have the most horrible luck in the world, 360 wishes times 160 Primo Gems, 57,600 Primo Gems. We're at 55,040. We're only 2,000 Primo Gems off from a guaranteed 2 banner characters. But I'm saving my Primos for when Yelan comes back. I got Nahida in the party. Oh, we got some Nice. Well, so much for that number we just saw. 55,070. Okay.
Final day. Don't rush.
Hang up. Hold up.
They say my condition's incurable. In which case,
I just want to make sure that there isn't some weird secret bullshit like is the Wanderer hanging around.
Let's take the medicinal herbs to be marched on once they're ready.
Oh, interesting. Sorry, I was just finding the name of a quest called The Wanderer's Trail, and it's the first quest in the game. It's the tutorial quest. Okay. Well, I think we're done. And that was fun. So we're going to do more Genshin tomorrow, maybe? And then very soon after that, Pokemon. And in between Pokemon and Genshin, there's going to be Deep Rock Galactic. And we're just sort of jumping between games. You did a 10 draw on Ito just to see if it was, you were blessed. You were not. Oh, that's sad. I already did my customary 1 draw per banner character, and I didn't get anything, so it's all good. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. Yeah, more of this in the future. There was no story quest this time around, or hangout event, so it's just the trading card game, which I'm not going to assume is short. I want to get a full, fresh stream starting out the trading card game, so I can just make a full thing out of that, because I don't know how long it's going to take. But apparently, earning all the cards in the game is based off of fighting NPCs for their cards, so maybe just there'll be an entire card game stream. Who knows? But I'm going to stop for now. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.